to another episode of Questlog, the weekly show about video games old and new. My name is Tyler Everett. I am joined, as always, by my good friend Brian Maxwell. How's it going, sir?
Oh, it's going great, man.
And
how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to announce the return of Kat Maxwell as well. It's a lot of wells. Yeah. We can give her. It's fine. We can do a round of applause. That's okay.
Golf clap.
Yeah. It's good to have you back, Kat. We missed you.
Good to be here. Not working.
Hell yeah. Been doing enough of that lately. Speaking of working a whole lot lately, Luke Phillips is here. How's it going, bud? How you feeling?
I am tired.
Yep.
I had a very late night last night, and I'm getting free tickets to see the Red Wings at the new Little Caesars Arena in a suite, and it was freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
It wasn't sweet though. It was just fantastic.
The suite was sweet. If you will.
Thank you.
Sweet was sweet, and the fantastic was fantastic.
I mean, the Wings lost.
Well, yeah,
because they
2-4, but whatever. The rest of it was great.
Please note that my groan was not for hockey or the Red Wings, but for hearing Little Caesars Arena.
Oh yeah.
Carry on.
No, we can take a big old steamy dump on that. A big $5 hot and ready poop on that.
It's how it is now.
Do people around the country have those? Is that like a nationwide thing, a Little Caesars, or is that just Midwest kind of thing?
Oh, dude, that's like a nationwide chain.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's huge.
Now.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's our contribution to the world. There you go, everybody.
They're okay charging like $30 a pizza.
Yeah. Oh, how much was the pizza, Luke? Did you get a pizza? Did you get a pie?
I did not get a pizza because the cool thing about the place is that even though there is quite a bit of Little Caesars around the area there,
I would imagine
there's a shit ton of other food places.
Oh, cool.
So I ended up getting a barbecue bacon burger and fries instead.
Nice.
That sounds all right.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how many of the dollars was it?
The burger and fry combo was $10.50.
That ain't so bad.
I mean,
that's not too
that
bad.
ain't bad at all.
For a stadium.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
I mean, that's the same you'd pay at a restaurant for a burger like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. Because
Do
I know that at the Joe, I bought a pizza, a Little Caesars pizza, and it was $20
for just the same old dirty hot and ready that you get anywhere else.
It's more of the deep dish variety. So not the $5, but like what are those, $8 or something like that? The deep dish,
Detroit style deep dish, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but they're $20 at the stadium.
That's a ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
no, what's a ripoff is how much they charge if you want something delivered to a suite.
Oh yeah, like somebody would walk it
So
from.
I was looking up beer prices, and there was a 4-pack of Two Hearted IPA. I'm like, oh shit, yeah! If I have someone bring this to me, that'd be phenomenal. 4-pack was $50.
Whoa.
Yes.
Here's the real question though: did you get it anyway?
Yes. No.
Okay. That would have been pretty impressive.
I walked my ass down the stairs and I got myself a $6 beer instead.
Tyler, it was just a preseason game. Now, if this was the playoffs, Luke's spending the money.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Aaron Kring is here too. Hi, Aaron.
Oh, hi.
I think that's everybody. You got us all in here now. Well, that's good. I'm glad you got to go to the game. I wish I could have taken that extra ticket and taken you up on that, but it was not in the cards.
I also wish I could have taken that extra ticket because I want to go and see LCA. Which, by the way, Brian, we don't say Little Caesars Arena. We say LCA.
That's better.
Just so that you don't. You don't have to.
Is it better?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, it feels less dirty coming out.
I mean, it could be. Ladies Crying Arena. It could be land.
Hey, don't we have games to talk about?
Isn't there like a Red Wing player that was LC was his initials? Who was?
Lindstrom Cronwall Arena.
Nailed it.
Got it.
Wendell Clark.
We're gonna check off Pizza Chat and Sports Chat right before the show even starts tonight.
This is efficiency.
Wendell Clark was a Maple Leaf, wasn't he?
He played for the Red Wings for like a season and a half. He was like a rent-a player.
Yeah,
we got him at the trade deadline one year.
He was in the same line as Tommy Fingers, I think. And Mario spits.
Oh, wait! Before we get off Pizza Chat.
Oh,
Luke,
yeah. Please do.
Is else because it's Little Caesars Arena? Is there that jalapeno cheese, the orange substance, all over the place there?
Asking
like, is
the
it everywhere?
important questions.
I would have to imagine that you could probably get it at one of the concession
Because
booths
I'm
there.
thinking if you didn't dip your fries in that, you wasted
Oh my
your
god,
fries.
smash a bacon burger into that stuff? Oh my
But again,
god.
I didn't go to a Little Caesars.
You're in a Little Caesars.
Don't they just have like kiosks
Arena.
out in the hallway where you can just grab some?
Kring's picturing like the those Coke machines, those Coke freestyle machines, but it's just like different sauces and cheeses and shit.
Different Little Caesars sauces.
I'm just like they have the condiment pumps.
You're right.
Where like at the hot dog stations, you just walk
Cheese
up and
pump.
it's just the cheese pump.
Yeah.
We're not that advanced yet.
If it's not that, I'm already disappointed with the place now.
Some
the
nacho
technology's not there yet.
cheese, some buttered garlic, some jalapeno.
I was already disappointed in the season this year because the team's going to be garbage. But if they didn't follow through on at least that, then what's the point in even going?
Yeah. Well.
Well, to go to Kid Rock's Made in Detroit.
We're off to kind of a rough start here.
Yeah. Let's not bring Kid Rock into this. Instead, let's.
Hey, 47's a prime number.
Jesus Christ.
Show title.
Right.
Saved it.
All right. Good note. Note taken. Here comes what we've been playing. Hey, so how about that Wolf Among Us, you guys?
We all finished it.
Yo.
Some of us more recently than others.
Me and Kat literally finished it 2 minutes before we hit the record button.
Yep. All I had was
Timing.
one scene left, and the computer glitched out on me before we left on a date. So
Yeah, she got the same thing you got. Where what did it say? Like
this option is blank. It was like 4 times
Yes,
on the screen.
yes.
Yeah.
all of them were this option was blank, and then it kept coming up. This option is blank.
Yeah, but I was like, oh shit, turn it off.
Yeah, he's like, just turn it off.
If you're just joining us, The Wolf Among Us is a Telltale game. It's a adventure game kind of. It's a clicky walkie mystery kind of thing. A lot of dialogue. It's real good. And we've been playing it
based on
all around the same
was
time.
a graphic novel.
Yeah,
graphic novels
called
here?
Fables. Yep, and
Yep.
it takes place in that world, and it's all the fairy tales that you grew up, and they're all in our world now, and shit's kind of bad. So,
Yeah.
I think we all got what through episode 2 last week.
Last week, yeah.
Yep.
And all of us managed to power through the rest of it. I just kind of want to talk about like general stuff about the game, not any story details. We'll save that for a little bit later. But yeah, sorry, Krang, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I wouldn't say we powered through it. Like, powered through it to me means that we like forced ourselves to get through. I don't think anybody here wanted to put it down.
Maybe that's the wrong terminology. We blazed through it. We got through it
There
very
you
quickly. Because I mean, not that the chapters were particularly long, but I mean, I know I put down chapters 4 and 5 in one sitting easily.
Yeah, I did it all the
couldn't
same night.
Mm-hmm. It's a great game. I don't know. It's so weird because I never think of myself as liking these types of games. You know, like I don't consider myself a adventure gamer per se, but I tend to really like these when I try them.
I think part of that's because it's easy to put yourself into the mindset of the character. Like now you're deciding you're going to actually role play this character like yourself, and you're making your own decisions. So you buy into the game very quickly that way.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool between this and Life is Strange that it's a genre you guys had just maybe never tried and just always assumed wasn't for you, but found that there can be exceptions.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep. I think the setting plays a big part of that. I don't know about you guys, but like just the whole look and feel and the characters and the world, it's all just interesting to me more so than zombies or even. There's a Game of Thrones one of these that didn't get great reviews, and I have no real desire to go check that out. But this was always kind of like on my radar. It was like, oh, it looks
I'll take
interesting.
that bullet, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna play it.
We have it on the Xbox. It was
really?
on sale for like $5 1 week.
I'll take that bullet. I'm gonna play the
The Walking
Walking
Dead,
Dead one,
season 1
too.
of Walking Dead's really, really good too.
Yeah. I really liked this one. I had to pry myself away from watching Game of Thrones to play it because I love them both right now. But wow,
Yeah.
the art style is really cool. Like, I
It is.
really liked the art style.
hmm
Yep.
I feel like your choices actually mattered too.
Yep.
This art style seems to age pretty well. I think
Mhm.
it's not necessarily graphically intensive. It just looks like a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys feel about like just kind of the general plot and everything overall?
I didn't trust a single person
Yeah.
by like
Yeah.
midway through episode 2, I think.
Well,
I don't know
once you learn
what
about
their
the glamour.
agenda is. I don't understand what this person is trying to do. I didn't trust anybody.
It's a tough world to get a grasp on, because unless you, even if you have knowledge of these different characters, like what their backstories are and that sort of thing, it's hard to place them, you know? I mean, you've got the big bad wolf who is always just blanket evil in all of those tales, and that's who you are, and you're trying to do the right thing and change your ways and fight your nature, and so is everybody else in the story. But everyone does kind of lean back into their roots.
Did we encounter anyone who we didn't know their fairy tale or their story?
yeah,
like,
Bluebeard.
the
Vivian.
Crooked Man. Like I don't know what
The
the
Crooked
Crooked
and
Man's from.
Vivian. I don't know Vivian's story either.
Lawrence.
Who?
Prince Lawrence.
Oh,
Prince
yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know Bluebeard.
I mean, I didn't know quite a bit of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
Not
Disney.
really into
Bluebeard's a
fables all
pirate,
that much.
isn't he?
No, so Bluebeard's story is crazy. I went and looked it up later. Apparently he's like this really wealthy but like kind of grotesque, like huge dude. And he's said to have had like a ton of wives and had murdered them all. And the story goes something like,
Wow.
his new wife is in their home in their giant mansion, and he's going away, and he gives her this key and says this key will open, you know, the doors to all the rooms in the house, but do not go into the basement. And he's like, okay, I'm out. And so
She goes to the basement because she can't help
she
herself.
has like a bunch of people over, her sister and you know, some other person, and they're like basically having this party, and they're going into these rooms and finding all these riches. And of course she goes down into the basement, and in the basement there's just bodies hanging from meat hooks. It's all of his slain wives and stuff, and there's just blood everywhere. And she like gets scared, drops the key, and gets blood on it, and then tries to run out. And apparently the key's magical or something, and there's blood that stays on the key. So when he comes home, he finds out like she's been down there and knows everything. It's a weird story.
Did you look up Vivian, the one who originally had the ribbon?
I
'Cause I'm
didn't.
curious. I've never heard that one before.
No, I haven't heard that one either. But yeah, it seemed interesting. Like she had this ribbon that made it so she couldn't talk about things.
Did anyone read the lore books that you unlock throughout the game?
At the beginning,
I
read.
looked at some of them.
Yeah, I read a few at the beginning.
I did
but
not.
I'm
I
a bad
didn't-
gamer, no.
I didn't really read any of them. I'm just wondering if all the characters are in there and discusses their real backstory, or if it's this backstory.
I think it does both. I think it tells you kind of what their fable is, and then it also kind of shows you
It's
where
like,
they are in the world. Like, there's the, you know, the three little pigs, and there's even some ones about just kind of the world in general. Like there's one that tells you more about the farm, one about Fabletown in general, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's something I'll pay attention to more. I started another playthrough because I finished the game and I felt like I probably played Bigby as close to how I feel like that character should be, you know, like how he would
not
be
what you
portrayed, but maybe not necessarily how I wanted. And then I also just thought, like, I wonder if I just take a big shit on this world. Like, I wonder if I'm just the biggest asshole I can be, how that will, like, what the consequences of that will end up being. So I started a new playthrough where I'm just a dick to everybody, and I want to see how that goes.
How far are you in that playthrough? Because
Not
I've been
far.
doing a playthrough like that too.
Not far at all.
And I am starting to feel real bad about myself. That kind of stuff.
Making little kids cry and stealing candy and shit.
Yeah, because I'm like a huge doucher to TJ.
Oh, the little TJ.
Oh, be nice to
TJ is so
TJ.
adorable. He's
And
just a
then,
little toad kid.
Then at the very beginning, like when Colin wants to smoke, like I don't
You're like,
give him
"Screw
one
you."
when he wants a drink. I don't give him
I got
one.
through that part
He
too.
at the end of my interaction with Colin, he walks out of the room and just looks at me and goes, "I hate you." He keeps on walking,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Wow, I feel terrible."
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite part with Colin was him walking down the hall with the beer in his mouth. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, Colin.
It's pretty good. Well, I mean, overall, I think we're all pretty happy with the game. Sounds like
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
the ending is pretty ambiguous. I don't want to give anything away yet, but we'll talk about that in a minute with the spoilers. But it definitely leaves itself open to more, which is I think kind of good for a game like this. And I think they
I just
did
looked
announce
up
that there's
theories.
there's
Yes.
a second part coming.
Season 2 confirmed.
Yeah,
Isn't that coming
Yep.
next year?
Yeah.
that's real cool.
They like just announced it, so we have a while.
I'm always apprehensive with these kinds of games that get released in episodes, though. Like, I want to be able to do what we did
Want
and
it all at
play
once.
through it in
Yeah.
a week instead of getting it over the course of months. So
They need to release it like Netflix, where it's just all out at once.
Or we just wait and binge it all at one
that's
time.
probably what I'll do.
Man. Yeah, probably.
But,
Because if there's going to be a long wait between episodes, I'm not going to be able to tolerate that.
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, if you're out there and you're thinking about this one, Brian was able to find it on the real cheap. I think it's a definite thumbs up from all of us.
Yep.
This
sure.
goes to show just how important voice acting can be. Because I
Yeah.
I
thought
agree.
the voice acting in this game was stellar, especially Big B.
Oh, Big B's voice was, yeah.
It was spot on.
Yep. A lot of memorable
Really, really
characters.
Especially when you've got a character-driven story like this,
Mhm.
more than an action-driven story.
Mhm.
And I think we
really
mentioned it
top
last
voice acting.
episode, but the facial animations are really good in this. You can kind of tell how someone reacts to your dialogue just by subtle facial cues.
Oh, yeah,
And-
the
and-
smirks. Oh,
Yep.
my goodness. I love his dirty smirks.
There's times when I think it does come off as a little bit weird. Like you'll say something and a character will be talking and they'll talk and then all of a sudden they'll be like, and they'll just give like a real big frown or like a real surprised look, and it kind of seems like it's
A little exaggerated.
yeah, it's like added after they say something, so you're like, oh shit, that was weird. I think it's like a little hint that you're supposed to
In case you couldn't tell that I'm pissed, here's a
here's a
angry
real
face.
like
Did anyone else slap Crane?
oh, I slapped the shit out of that old man.
Yeah, yeah.
So he still had,
Every
I mean,
time.
they did really good artwork because he literally had the handprint on his face still.
Yeah. And that's not a major spoiler. You get many opportunities to slap many people in this game, so don't be offended by that. But just in case, I think now's a good time to do the little and give us the opportunity to talk some spoilers here. And don't worry if you're listening live. Well, if you're listening live, you're gonna hear some spoilers.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the
Stop
podcast,
now.
this part won't be in it. So it's like I'd never even said it. But anyway,
I'm
yeah.
gonna bring the game up real quick so I can look at the choices lists.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Carry
Oh
on.
yeah.
So we left off at episode 2, which I think ended with Snow White being she was
Blurs together
Live.
quickly, doesn't it?
yeah, she was alive. Episode 2 ends with them accusing Crane, I believe.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty damning. Like you find photos of him doing bad things to Snow White, who is not actually Snow White. I think it's Lily.
Glamored.
Lily,
Yeah.
and she's glamored
Yeah,
to look
Lily,
like Snow
yeah.
White. Yeah. So,
Lily is the troll dancer, exotic dancer.
Sister
prostitute.
Holly.
Holly's sister.
to Holly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holly's sister.
Yeah, I mean, so from there, you kind of, do you want me to just like recap it real quick so that we can just talk about it freely? Or what do you want to
Sure.
do?
Sure.
So, stop me if I'm wrong anywhere here. So after that, you leave and you got to get Crane. So it's all about finding Crane. And you go to, you think you're given the option to go to Crane's apartment, to go to the Tweedle's office, or to, is it Toad's place? What was it?
I think so.
I thought it was
The bar?
a trip trap.
The
I thought it
bar.
was-
You're
yeah,
right.
Trip
the
Trap.
Yeah,
It was
the
a
Trip
trip
Trap.
trap.
So I don't know about you guys, but
Because wasn't that didn't the funeral happen at the beginning of episode 3, and it was right after that you were gonna go after Crane? Or
Yeah,
something
the funeral
like that?
was early in episode 3.
Okay. And I don't know about your playthroughs, but in mine it went to shit real quick.
The funeral?
The Tweedles show up and...
Yep, I let Snow finish, and I tried to be respectful, and then I got a gun in my back.
Yep,
Me
me
too.
too.
And they're like, oh, you brought trouble again.
Yep. And
It wasn't me. It's not me.
I don't know how it ended for you guys, but like Holly took a shot to the belly, I got shot in the arm, and I think Gren got shot too.
Yeah.
And everyone
I don't think Holly-
lived, but
Hmm.
Yeah, because remember, you go back to the trip trap, and Holly's like out of it. She's like in a
Oh,
cot.
yeah.
She's like on a cot in the back room, and she wakes up.
Well, I didn't. she
She's
didn't wake
flying
up
high.
me.
yeah,
Oh, no.
the doctor gives her
Well, I mean, she
nightshade or
talked,
something like that.
Yeah, it's like she didn't wake up.
No. I just sat and let her talk. I wasn't waking the beast.
I think we all played this so similar. I think that's funny. Like,
Yeah, I think so,
it-
too.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like the normal human reaction when a funeral for a loved
Right.
one goes south is to go and comfort that loved one.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I try to not be a dick.
Yeah.
So I've got I have the list of player choices up.
Okay. Let's just run through those.
You go down. So you end up going to see Auntie Greenleaf,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and she is making the glamours illegally and selling them illegally. I did not burn her tree. Like, Snow White gets real. That's the first point where Snow White's like, all right, you know what? I'm your boss and you're doing this. And I was like, go fuck
Nope.
yourself.
Yep.
You don't get to talk to me that way. I'm not doing it.
That's when I started to not really trust Snow White either.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Exactly.
you're just trying to take over now.
Yeah.
You're like, you're
Kind of
gonna
out of
end,
character for
you're gonna
her.
end up being as bad as Crane.
She does.
Yeah, she's like, oh, we can't give him money.
She does
Ugh.
preface all of this with like, we need to make change. Like, we need to. She has a good point. If it's in this like glass box, like environment, she's like, we can't just do whatever we want. We have to follow the rules. We have to do this all by the books.
Right.
Crane's been picking and choosing who to help, and ignoring people for far too long, and we don't want to do that, right? So her initial thought process is pretty noble, I think. Where it falls apart though is that decision. She's pissed at this lady, and she orders you to burn her fucking tree in her house. Like,
Nope.
my thought was like, okay,
That's
I'm gonna
not-
light her fucking tree on fire.
That's
and
not by the book.
her whole apartment's gonna burn down, and that's gonna be on us. Like, I'm not fucking doing that. So
That's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
burned it.
So
Yeah, I burned the fuck out of it.
So what? So what
Because
happens?
I-
she just sits
I
there sobbing
thought about
or
it,
something, or?
Oh no, she like talks about how she calls you and Snow monsters. She's like, "What kind of monsters are you?" or something like that. But I looked at it as I'm the sheriff, so I'm putting myself in that mindset of a sheriff.
Mhm.
And now we've got this person who's running around and making cheap glamours for whoever will buy them to make them look like somebody else. Yet I'm here trying to solve a murder investigation, and I can't determine if anybody is actually who they are at the moment the crimes took place, because I
Throws
don't
a
know if
wrench in
they've
your,
been
in your
glamored.
investigation.
So I thought to what I wanted to do was like confiscate the tree or hire Granny to Auntie Greenleaf to work with the other witches, and there's an option to hire her, and I picked that option, and you don't get to. It doesn't do anything. It becomes like a little. I think there was a little dialogue between you and Snow, and it basically ends up. Nope, you got to either burn it or not burn it. Like, you can't have a middle ground. And I didn't
so that's
burn
not
it
even
because
really
I was.
an option then.
Yeah, and I'm not burning it because Snow White told me to burn it, even though she thinks I'm doing it because of that. I'm burning it because I would really just like to make sure what she's doing is regulated, but I don't have that choice.
Right.
So I erred on the side of caution and burned it.
Oh, you burned it?
Yeah, I burned it.
So this.
Pissed her off real good.
What's the next choice, Brian? What's the next thing that gives you?
Did you kill Tweedledum?
Nope.
You go
Yup.
and you
Yeah.
get rain, and then
Oh yeah.
everything goes south. Like, the Tweedles show up, Bloody Mary shows up.
Oh.
You
Yep.
guys ever play that when you were a kid? You ever do that one?
No.
Bloody Mary.
You ever?
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
in the
but I-
mirror?
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of that one?
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Mhm.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. You ever?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, say your name at midnight in a mirror 3 times, or
She
something
shows
like
up,
that. She
yeah.
shows up.
Yep.
Yeah, she was real creepy, but yeah, like Big B gets all shot up, and yeah, like they shot me many times. Like I don't mind killing you. You're trying to kill me, so
it's
I'm
gratuitous.
totally justified.
It's like they start firing double barrel shotguns at you. They're just loading you full of buckshot, and you're just watching blood go everywhere. And finally, you're able to Hulk out and turn into exactly. You turn into this big old werewolf and go charging at Tweedledum, I think it is, and pin him up against a wall. And it gives you the option to kill him or don't kill him. And I'm like, his buddy is right behind me. And there's this Bloody Mary bitch. I'm killing him. He's fucking done. Like,
it's self-defense. You're fighting for your life and the life of the Snow and Crane.
Yep. Snow looked all horrified. I'm just like, God, go fuck yourself. Don't come here with your shock and dismay.
Try to high road me when you just sat there and watched them fill me full of lead.
They will shoot you next.
Yeah, See, and I felt there didn't need to be more chaos and killing, so I didn't kill him.
I felt
I pegged those Tweedles as being part of like the bigger picture of this whole thing.
They're just muscle. They're just
they are just muscle, but I pegged them as if they didn't pull the trigger, they're working for the guy who ordered the trigger to be pulled, and I had no qualms about killing them, especially since every single time you run into them, they fuck you up.
Yeah, I would have killed the other one if they gave me the chance.
Yeah. I really wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt going through the story. I was like, yeah, you know what? They're kind of detectives like me or private eyes or just little goons for hire. Maybe they're not really so bad, but no, every opportunity they were there and blindside you, put a gun in your back at a funeral, or just double team you with shotguns.
Luke, you said private eye. I wish many times that I could have been a private eye instead of a sheriff, because everything you do, you're doing in the name of the law and the government, and you're representative of that. I was like, wish I could just be a free agent and dispense justice freely in the way that I see fit.
Right.
Maybe in the sequel.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the option I took was to kill him, and you kill him in a real gruesome way. Grab him by the throat and rip it out. And you get to see like his neck and esophagus are all just exposed and hanging out of him. And
it's very satisfying.
It was a satisfying moment, but it turns to shit real quick when Bloody Mary takes a shot in your back with a silver bullet and brings you down, and Snow saves you at the last minute. So
yeah, but she was going to shoot you in the back anyway, so you might as well kill a Tweedle while you're at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't kill him when I got shot in the back. So
see, there you go.
You meet with the doctor again. You meet with the doctor 3 or 4 times, and every time he's just like, "Dude, next time it's going to be the last. You got to stop."
And it wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah, that never seemed to really be a threat.
I really thought they were foreshadowing something there.
Me too. Mm-hmm. I thought like I'm gonna choose the rage option, and it's gonna bite me in the ass real hard. And spoiler alert, that didn't really happen.
So the next thing on the list is: did you send Colin to the farm?
It was a joking one.
I did not.
Did I what?
Send Colin to the farm.
Nope.
I didn't either. Nope.
Colin's awesome.
I gave him beer and a smoke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's not going anywhere.
I liked the little bit of like, she's gonna come around. Like, don't worry about Snow. She's just upset about a guy fucking a clone of her and killing it. Like, it's fine.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because that was when Snow started to like totally flip. Is when she saw the pictures of Crane banging what's not her but looks like her, and it totally.
I never showed her the pictures.
I don't think I showed her.
I showed her, and it hinted that she'd seen stuff before like this. Like she's been through this before. It was hinted at that.
Men jerk off to me all the time. Damn it. Sorry, Snow.
Yeah, like maybe that Prince Charming tale of her being like asleep in a thing isn't as wholesome as.
Kisses her when she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, maybe that's the whitewashed version, and there's some other weird stuff happening with them dwarves. Anyway,
you saying You saying when she was asleep she got R-worded?
I'm just saying,
That's-
like, those dwarves have been in the woods alone for a long time, and she's not going anywhere. That story is a lot more dark if this
Okay.
is real life. I'm sorry.
But this is just fantasy.
Not everything is Game of Thrones, Tyler.
You don't understand how much I have to remind myself of that every day.
This isn't Tyrion. Come on.
Every game I play, I'm like, oh no, danger around every corner. Someone's
You ride your-
someone's
you
gonna
ride
try to
your-
R-word you. It's gonna happen. Don't- Kat's watching Game of Thrones now. She knows. It's a real.
I am.
It's
Oh,
a real
I
R-wordy
love it.
world.
Someone's gonna R-word you, and then they're gonna slice your
Oof.
penis off.
Yep.
Anyway,
Poor Greyjoy.
yeah. So you get fixed up, and then what? What happens next, Brian?
You continue with your investigation. I went to the pawn shop. What was it? The Lucky
Charm,
Pawn.
Lucky Pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You meet Jersey.
Jersey
Meet
Devil.
The Jersey Devil.
Mhm.
Yep. I beat the ever-loving hell out of him.
That dude was
that was
creepy.
satisfying.
I
Yeah.
think I
was
broke
a
one of his
crazy
horns
looking
off
monster.
and rammed it
Yep.
through his chest hole, and
Yep.
yeah, he didn't.
You guys are just violent.
The motherfucker is a demon, and he came at me, and I put him in
The
his
woodsman is there,
GD
too.
place. Yeah, the woodsman helped too. He was
Yep.
kind of like a buddy cop
Bonding
thing going on
moments.
there. Yeah, it was kind of nice.
Cat violence. Violence
Okay.
was never my first choice, but I would always
There's a line.
choose. If they came at me with violence, I was just gonna escalate it and just lay the smack down on them.
You want to hear something stupid?
No,
I stayed away from the violence because I hate that kind of gameplay. Like, I hate the
quick time stuff.
Button.
that's not stupid.
Yes.
What were you gonna say?
Quick time events.
I couldn't. I had to have him sit with me at one point because I'm just like, you do the buttons, I'll do the mouse because I can't do this.
If season 2 could be Bigby and the Woodsman in an 80s buddy cop movie,
Yes.
that would be phenomenal.
Yes.
Lumberjack cop.
Yes.
pretty
That
good.
would be awesome.
It's pretty good.
Yep, that needs to
So
happen.
you go to the pawn shop and you go to the butcher.
Mhm.
I went to
Ugh.
the butcher
Well,
first.
That ends up leading you to where the Crooked Man is. He's kind of the mastermind at the heart of everything.
Luke. Wait.
I went to the butcher first.
Okay, so Kat and
The
Luke
butcher,
went to
then
the
the pawn
butcher.
shop.
What about
then
you,
the pawn
Crane?
shop. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you go pawn shop first?
Can't remember.
So
I think
when I
I
got
think I went to the
Not
pawn
sure if
shop
anything
first.
changes.
when I went to the butcher's after, I had just missed some people because he hit a button and scared
Yep.
him off. That happened with you guys too.
Yeah,
Same thing. Yeah. Well, I went there first, and it was
Yeah.
he pressed the button to warn him.
Okay.
Same thing.
I saw that fucking button too, like the first scene
Oh, yeah.
when you first walk in there. I'm like, oh, I need to get behind that counter right now, so that can't happen. And I triggered something and couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Once
As
you
soon
pull
as
up
you
the
walk
door,
back
he
there,
comes through.
He walks out.
mhm.
Yeah.
So sounds like nothing really changes there.
Yeah. Yep. You end up finding the Crooked Man, and there's a little welcome party there waiting for you, and there's some talk. The Crooked Man reminded me a lot of Timothy Dalton
Yes,
in Hot
I
Fuzz.
thought
Like
exactly
just the way he
that.
talked to you, like his voice was kind of similar, and just the way he carried himself. Like every accusation that you had that you knew he was guilty of, he just explained it away in a very calm, rational, like, what?
Slasher.
No, of course.
Slasher
No,
of
I didn't.
prices.
I haven't killed anyone, Bigby. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
There must have been a misunderstanding
He-
with one of my
It was-
underlings.
oh, I wanted to punch him right in the face.
Yep. That character was super well done.
Yes.
Yep.
I was almost on his side too. I almost agreed to a deal with him.
What?
Not on his side, but I almost wanted to hear him out just because he had everybody in that room and they weren't killing me. Like the people in that room had every reason to kill me. I killed one of the Tweedles. I put horns through Jersey Devil. I punched.
It's because
I punched
he's
Georgie
in
Porgy in the
control.
fucking mouth every chance I got and stole all his money and broke his whole
Yep.
fucking place up. Like,
Yep.
I tried not to destroy places.
guy went to town on that fucking place.
That's
And the
funny. I
funny
didn't
thing
damage
is-
a single thing.
I actually went back
Like,
and
oh.
forth. I tried to I'd ask him a question, he wouldn't say a thing. So the next time I'd walk over to something, I'd smash the shit out of it, and then I'd ask him a question again, and he'd clam up again. I'd smash the next thing, like just.
I played it exactly that same way, Tyler. Like, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to answer me straight. Like, let's talk this out like adults. And then he would give you basically a fuck you, and then fuck me, fuck you, stereo, bam.
Yeah,
Fuck your couch.
that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. So the crooked man leaves, and a scuffle ensues, and some folks get shot and stabbed. And
Yep.
I ended up chasing Georgie Porgy back to his place.
Me too.
Yes.
He was stabbed in the stomach, I think, by Tweedledee accidentally. Like, you dodge out of the way or something, and he stabs him in the stomach, is what happened for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, his intestines were
Stabbed quite as much
out
as
of
you
his tummy.
gutted.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah.
I ended up sympathizing with Georgie Porgy by the end. I was just like, oh, you poor bastard. Like, this really isn't your fault. Like,
Yep.
he's done some shit, but you can see to where he kind of, was coerced and not given a lot of
He's
choice.
backed
Like,
into a corner.
yeah, this dude just, like, taking over his business
Yeah.
and tells him how it's going to be. And it's like, well, if I don't listen...
This was
dead.
the most
Done.
interesting theme throughout this whole game to me. It was this idea of like these people are
They're criminals.
misrepresented by I just made up a new word. Misrepresented in their society. The police don't care about them. They are
Riffraff.
Yeah.
if they're not
They're criminals. They're bad people, right?
well, if they're not oppressed, they're at least ignored. Like they're
Yep.
sequestered. They're in another part of town, and when they have problems, nobody's there to listen. And
Yep.
so this character of the Crooked Man steps in and goes, "Oh, what's that? You are having a hard time paying your rent? I can take care of that for you. All I need is, just
Favor.
just a favor, and hey, I know you're having a hard time paying off what you owe me with that interest, so why don't you come down and work at this fine establishment that I have, and you can earn your money back that way." And he's able to move in to these people's lives in ways that are uncomfortable, but it makes them feel like they have no other choice. And like you said, Brian, and then the people in the ivory towers come down and say, "Oh, these criminals are
They're just bad people, bad
people,
character. That's all it
breaking
is.
the law and deserving what they've earned, and they've made their choices, and it's really easy to."
But the government wasn't helping them. Like the
Yep.
they had to do something to survive.
Yeah, like when you meet Grendel at first, he just seems like a dick, but then you learn it's like, well, someone close to him died and no one did anything about it. But, when something affects the wealthy or powerful people, you're right here, and get the fuck out of here. I can see his point. I can see his perspective.
I can see almost every character's perspective in this whole story.
Yeah.
And that was
Except for Beauty and Beast. Fuck those guys.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
yeah,
When they're like,
fuck the pair of
we're
them. Ugh.
used to a certain lifestyle. Well,
Yeah.
fuck you guys.
Yeah, but
Seriously.
they're living beyond their means and, getting loans so they can keep on living a fancy lifestyle when they clearly can't afford it.
Yep. No. That's on my second playthrough when Beauty asks you to tell Beast that you didn't see her. I just respond with, "I'm staying out of this." And then Beast comes up and talks to you in the elevator, and I respond with, "I'm staying out of this." Like, no, fuck you guys. You go handle your own shit. I don't care about you guys.
That's funny. That's how I did it
Yep.
the first time. I was like, this is not my part.
It ain't none of my business.
Yeah. Yep.
I found a lot of subplots that were there, like the Beauty and the Beast thing. It's there meant purely as a distraction. It's a way to like get you to think that something's up, but they're total red herrings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is, I think, just world building too. Like, it gives those characters a reason it gives you a reason to see like how low some of these people are willing to go. Like, the prince and princess from this that got their fairy tale ending are doing anything they can to try to preserve that. And I don't know. I think there's something to that. I think there's a lot
Beauty
of nuance.
Beauty might actually be sucking dick to take care of it too.
All right. Anyway, yeah. I don't know.
He's not wrong.
I feel like it's. I don't know. Like you said, I can just see every character's motivations really well. They did a
can
good job
appreciate
fleshing them all out. And
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
happens
Georgie
next?
gets injured, and you follow him back to the club. Did you guys mercy kill Georgie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
did too.
That would be a painful and horrible death.
I-
I don't know if the game treated it as a mercy kill, but I felt I had to.
He asked
Yeah,
me to kill
I
him.
think it said
I
like you
see.
ended Georgie's suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
it
but
ends
everyone
up-
gets pissed about it.
everybody at the end of the game gets pissed about you killing Georgie because you
You didn't
killed
tell-
Georgie.
You didn't
Like-
tell him why though. Like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you don't
just
get the opportunity.
I think that
Yeah.
was the point, was to put that question there. Like, okay, well, they were like, oh, well, Georgie saw all of this. Where's Georgie? And you got to be like,
Mhm.
right here. His DNA is all just right up in.
I got some on my sleeve.
Right on,
and-
yeah.
But I hate the way that they say that. I hate the way that your answers are. I killed him, or basically it was I killed him, or you lie. And it's like, well, I didn't kill him. He was already dead.
he
I
was
just
gonna die.
finished him off. Like I could have left and he'd have died an hour later.
I'm curious if he doesn't die though. Like if he would show up and
Like if you just walked out and left him there.
yeah.
I mean,
'Cause-
Luke, his entire insides.
Oh,
were
I know
outside.
it was real bad, but
That is a
you
good
know,
point, Luke,
Bigby's
because
had worse.
your whole thing then is like, here's a guy that literally asked you to end it for him, and you left him to die slowly. He's gonna come back and be like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you! You're a piece of shit monster."
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
Yeah,
Who are you,
now
Obi-Wan?
Georgie
Nope,
could be
can't do
upset, but the other people could be like, "Oh, well, he didn't murder him. At least
I guess, yeah.
you know they could just go multiple different ways."
So
So you got that scene in the strip club where Georgie is fatally wounded and asks you to kill him, and Vivian, who is there with him,
Mhm.
yeah, she's the one who kills herself. She's got the ribbon around her neck. You find
Yeah.
out that the ribbons that the dancers wear
That's what keeps him
are
silent.
enchanted to keep them from, from speaking about their clientele.
Hers is the main one.
And if they
that
take the ribbon
removing-
off, they die. That's
Yep.
why all the heads are cleanly decapitated, because the ribbons, they took them off,
yep.
sliced straight through.
Yeah.
And she decides to end it and pull her own ribbon off. At least for me, I didn't take it off her.
Me either. No.
She's already
Same.
dead when you show up.
What do you just
I
mean
thought-
figuratively,
That's what I
or
wanna-
what do you mean? Vivian is for you? Hello?
Are we talking? Are we talking when you go to the pudding and pie
Yeah.
and Georgie's there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was already laying next to him dead.
Oh, maybe for you. She wasn't for
Not
me.
from my playthrough.
No,
Nope,
I had like
nope.
a whole thing where she
There was a whole
No, there was a
Dialogue.
big long
she,
dialogue
she-
about it.
She gave a really good little speech about like when we started
I
this.
think I
this
was like, oh, let's not kill her. And she's like, no, this is my choice. This is my life.
Mhm.
You don't get to choose. I get to choose. And I'm choosing to rip this thing off.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
when she,
Yeah, I don't. I think she
You
was
didn't
already
get
dead
that?
in my playthrough.
Hmm.
I don't think I got that.
that's
Huh.
weird.
Did she
Huh.
drive the car? Like she was driving the car back to the club. And I was on the roof.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't jump on their car. So I jumped on the Crooked Man's car.
Limo?
Yeah, I
Oh.
jumped on the limo. I didn't jump on Georgie
Did you
Porgy's
end up
car.
back at the club somehow still?
You end up still back at the club. Well, you don't end up back at the club. Like, I can't remember what happens. How it happens. Oh, okay. So you jump on the top of the limo, and then Bloody Mary slams on the brakes, and you go flying forward off of it. And I think then she hits you with her car, and you end up waking up in just laying in the street, and then you make your way to the club.
Gotcha.
Oh, so you walk in and
Yeah.
she's already dead, and Georgie tells you what
So
happened.
I walked in, and she's already dead. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah, in ours, she gives like this great little speech about how this place was supposed to be our place, and like we were getting a fresh start, and it was it was supposed to be a joke. It was just like a silly thing for us to do, but it was ours. We were going to be in charge of it. We were going to be in control, and it was all going great until the Crooked Man showed up and decided that this was going to be his business, and started making them not just dancers but prostitutes, and doing the ribbon thing and all that stuff. So it was kind of sad. And then ultimately she decides like she feels terrible about this. She has to look at photos of her friends every day that are dead because of her, and she's like, I've had enough, and pulls the string right in front of you, and you watch it happen.
Yeah, you don't learn that much
Hmm.
the other way. Like, I didn't learn hardly any of that.
Hmm.
I walk in, she's dead. Georgie says that she killed herself, that he didn't do it, but we don't go into that kind of detail on it. So
Like that was the original
I didn't
ribbon.
end up feeling as much sympathy for Georgie as you guys do, because I looked at it. I thought he was just working for the Crooked Man all along, and not
Right.
like he started this business and the Crooked Man came along and fucked him out of it. but
Yep.
that he was
Did the same
It's the
thing.
same
to
thing
the
the
always
Butcher.
Butcher tells you.
more.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I didn't know any of that.
Yep. Butcher has a very similar story, and that's ultimately what was like, man, this is the real tragedy of this, is that like these people are being manipulated by a guy with just enough money to come in and fuck everything up. You know, enough money and ill intentions.
Yep. Yep. So you leave the club and then you go to some
Make
like
a president.
warehouse, some like factory or something, because it's an '80s cop movie. You know, the bad guy's hiding out in a in a warehouse that manufactures steam, sparks,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah,
have a showdown
what
with
is the
Bloody
deal with
Mary.
you being in a foundry?
I don't know.
Because reasons.
Dark and dangerous.
I was expecting at the end of the Bloody Mary fight for her to end up in the lava and then like thumbs up as she goes down.
Terminator.
I did too. Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
expect her to go out the way it did, but that's the scene I needed help with. And like,
That surprised me. Like her when she transformed was creepy as fuck.
Oh
She's
my
got
God, it was
broken
so
pieces of
creepy.
mirror
Yeah.
sticking out of her, and it crunches when she walks.
oh yeah, the crunching walking was gross.
I
That
did not
fight
expect
was
Bigby
insane.
to turn into a giant wolf.
That was awesome.
But it was
It's full
also.
moon.
Yeah,
It's a full moon.
Was it? I
it was
missed
a full
that.
moon, I think,
Oh,
wasn't
I
it?
missed that too.
I think, and also he was just being completely overpowered. Like every time that he's wolfed out, he's gotten progressively stronger. Like the stakes have gotten higher. Like the first few times, he just gets kind of extra hairy and some long teeth. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
liken it to like the Hulk on a slider, like
Right.
a power slider.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's a little bit angry. It's always when he starts to get his butt kicked and he starts to get pissed off that he kind of wolfs out. And this was like the ultimate of it. Like no, he
He's
went full Hulk
Gonna
on
die.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like Neo fighting the Smiths in the Matrix movie, where it's just like they just keep coming and there's who knows how many of them. There's no way you can win, and
Yep. Turn into a giant.
he ends up
fucking wolf. Should've tried
huffing and
that.
puffing and
blowing them all into smithereens. Yeah, that was real cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
I liked how even if you nailed all of the combos, like all of the quick time things, you were still like getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, you still take
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
It was like every time I'd hit it, like I saw it turned green, I definitely hit it right, but I'm still taking a punch to the face or taking
Yep.
a shard to the gut or something.
And they kept that was the hardest one. Those quick time events kept coming so rapidly that I missed a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like,
killed the one in
they're
front of you,
asking
but
it
there
to
were
you.
4 more on you.
Mhm.
That really made me feel like I was seriously just getting my butt handed to me.
Mhm.
Yep, felt hopeless.
Yep. So
I was like, this is getting bad. I'm not sure I'm going to survive this.
I remember my jaw dropping though when he turns into a full-on just giant wolf, a big bad wolf. It was real cool. I was like, "Oh shit!" He starts just eating the Bloody Mary
Yeah.
clones, like
Yep.
just
Crunch,
crunching right
crunch,
through them.
crunch.
It was cool, and I
Yeah,
liked how
so
he
you-
still looked like Bigby. Did you guys notice that too? Like even though he was a full-on like regular wolf, there were still features about him, like the way his fur parted and stuff. It looked like his hair. It was
Right.
cool. But yeah, so you defeat her.
So you put
and-
Bloody Mary down and go into the office and find Crooked Man pointing a pistol at you.
silver bullets in there.
Yep.
He talks some bullshit about like, hey, I might not be a great shot, but there's 6 bullets in here and one of them's bound to at least hit you. You know, like
Yep. He tries to talk his way out of it, like you came here to find the killer and Georgie's the killer. You found the killer. You're a hero. Go home.
Yeah. Shit.
yeah, and
He
you
insists on being taken back to trial. He's like, you're not going to kill me. And he's, Snow White wouldn't want that. You're going to have to explain things if you kill me. Do you really want to do that?
I really
Yeah, he's
want
And I'm
to
just like, you're an asshole.
I really
Like,
wanted to, and I almost did.
it was like a coin toss. Like the little timer's running down. I'm just like, oh God, I don't know if I'm going to kill him or take him home. I'm not sure.
Did anyone kill him?
I'm gonna on my new playthrough.
I want to know what that
going to
changes.
try.
How that changes
I'm
things.
curious.
I don't know if it's gonna let you. It might be a similar thing to like
Might be a
me
false
trying to
choice.
hire, like a
Yeah.
false choice. Me trying to hire anti-Greenleaf, but it ends up no, I have to choose to burn it or not burn
I
it.
spoiled that part for myself, and
Did you look it
I
up?
did, and I can just say that it's not a fake choice.
Oh yeah!
Well,
It's a-
now I suddenly want to replay it.
yeah,
Yup!
yeah,
Let's do
it does
this.
change things
All
a
right.
little bit. So
Done.
Just my thinking was like, I don't want to take him home because this is the kind of guy that can talk himself out of this and walk
I
free,
thought
and
the
that
same
can't
thing.
happen.
Yep.
Which leads us to
which
that
leads us to the
dialogue,
end,
which
he almost
was
does.
freaking fantastic.
Oh
And
yeah.
Yeah.
That
Planting
dialogue
doubt.
thing felt like a boss fight in itself.
Mhm.
And we get the little thing in the corner that's like, the crowd siding with Crooked
Everyone's
Man,
unsure.
the crowd siding with you, and it goes back and forth. And
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat for dialogue choices.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the way they set that whole scene up is real cool. They take you back to the witching well, which is where it seems like in the past they've decided this is where bad fables go. They throw them down the witching well and they
Yep. I think
Or
it's
dead
kills 'em,
fables.
or
They
dead
apply 'em.
fables. Yeah, they put them down here because we can't just, it implies that there's some kind of magic involved there too that doesn't let
Right.
them come back.
We don't know where or if it ends.
Right, might just be a bottomless
Didn't
pit.
they say that? Didn't they say what it does though? It like completely rips the fable apart.
Did they?
I thought
I don't
that
know.
was mentioned in the game that it just completely tears you apart, like
Might be.
kind of like going into a black hole.
I thought it was just like they're gone, and that's all we know is they're just gone.
I really want to know what the witching well is all about. 'Cause that almost seems like a portal to
Hell.
story Fableland or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
So
I tried to get everyone to vote
me too.
on his fate,
Me too.
and then it was like, nope, Big B, you choose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing happened to me.
Same here.
So I chose to put him down the well.
I chose that too.
You chose to rip his head off,
No,
Tyler.
I chose to put him down the
I
well,
thought-
and then as I was walking him to the well, he
oh,
turned around and he said, "Nope, not like this," and put his handcuffs around
Puts
my
the
neck
cuffs around your
and tried to pull
Yep.
me down with him. And I went, "Now I'm
Didn't
ripping
work
his
out for
fucking
him.
head off."
That actually happened to me because I was agonizing over that choice so much so that I went to click, and by the time I went to click, the time had run out. So he actually does that, not like this if you don't say anything
Right.
and drags you over by the well. But I ended up arresting him. I didn't put him down the well.
Really?
Yeah, as violently as I played the rest of that game, I thought to myself, no, death is too good for this guy. I want this fucker to rot.
Here were my two thoughts. One, motherfucker has portals that appear randomly all over the place that he can jump through, and who's to say that one of those can't show up on his cell door and he can just walk through to his back to his
Sure.
house. Two, maybe there's one that shows up in the fucking well, and even when you put him down the well, he just went through a portal and ends up back on his fucking cozy couch. Like,
So do you know what actually happens to him when you arrest him?
no.
Snow has set, or is it Snow or Auntie Greenleaf, Luke?
She said
Says
she was going
that
to use magic.
anti-green leaf.
Auntie Greenleaf
Yeah.
has magic. They turn him into a bird.
Yeah.
And
Aw.
he I think a raven, and he is locked inside a birdcage, being carted around by Snow White.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he's an actual bird.
That just seems
Not-
like you just
Asking for
just
trouble.
need the one person to know that secret and to change him back, and then he's right back out on the street again.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So I ripped his fucking head off and then looked at it right in the eyes as I dropped it down the witching well. And Snow was like, "Oh goodness, oh no!"
Fuck Snow.
Everyone
Fuck her.
really pooped their pants over that one. I was like, "Did y'all motherfuckers not see this guy just try to drag me down the well? Like, really? Are we gonna really make me into the bad guy here? Like,
And you said
You.
on the screen it said Fabletown fears the big bad wolf.
Fabletown
Was
is
that what
afraid
it
of the
said?
big bad wolf." Yep.
Mine just said Fabletown will remember this.
I think ours did too.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it said Fabletown will remember this.
Yep, it said they're afraid of the big bad wolf. And then I was like, okay, whatever. They're afraid of me. Good. Like, like I know that sucks
Do your
because
job.
that is essentially who the Crooked Man is. That's essentially who Crane was. They made people fear them, and that's how they controlled people.
Congratulations, Tyler. You're just like the police in America.
Might have to. Never mind. Never mind. But yeah, it was kind of a shitty end. I felt like it was the right thing to do, and every time I killed someone, I felt like it was the right thing to do. That they earned it. That it was justice, and
Wasn't done lightly.
yeah. But there wasn't really room for that to. I couldn't explain it every time that happened, so Yeah, they fear me. And then after that, okay, maybe it's just a thing with these types of games, but I feel like they have a really good lead up right to the end, and the ending disappoints me. The actual ending. Like if the game would have just ended, if the game would have just ended right there with Fabletown Fears the Big Bad Wolf credits, I think I might have been okay with that.
I think I would have too.
Agreed.
Or
you get a scene where they send people off to the farm, or they send
they send fucking
Toad and TJ off
to the farm after I gave him a giant stack of cash that I stole from many people around town that were doing bad things. That should have been plenty.
That's your goddamn glamour.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because Toad's a piece of shit.
No,
Toad is
fuck
a
Toad.
Toad.
Seriously, fuck
Okay,
Toad.
fuck Toad.
So
Toad is
here's
the
one of my
worst.
few complaints about the game is Toad was an asshole to me this entire game, but I was always nice to him. Everything I did for him, I was very polite. I gave him the money. I was always nice to TJ. And then in this part, he's like, "Oh, I'm being sent to the farm because of you." And Snow, and like, dude, I helped you every step of the way, and you're
Thanks,
still being
money.
an asshole to me?
That's where that's the one time where more so than any other thing I wanted to be like, no, give me the console. I'm writing my own fucking end right here. I go up and I pin Snow against the wall and I say, you're not sending this fucking Toad and his kid away. Here's the money for their glamours and shut the fuck up. And I wanted to just do that and it wouldn't let me.
The funny part is that I did not send Colin to the farm.
Me either.
And totally like,
Where's
your
Colin?
friend Colin? I was like, how the fuck should I know?
I was like,
walked away.
I was like, Colin, who the fuck is, what's a Colin?
He just walked down the hallway with beer, but I have
He's
not
a
seen him.
talking, smoking pig. He's awesome. I'm not sending him away.
Well,
And he drinks
you know
beer.
what? TJ was awesome too. I thought that his character
Yeah.
broke my heart. The little TJ frog. And,
The little
And
the
1.8%
voice actor for TJ was really good too.
Mhm.
Yeah. How could 1.5% of players did not accept his gift? What the fuck is wrong
Yeah,
with
those
that?
people are monsters. Just
Oh
pure and
yeah,
simple.
on my latest playthrough, I'm gonna not accept that gift.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do every single.
I
Fuck idiot. She doesn't want
I
this.
hope he like holds his hands out and Bigby just smacks it right into the ground. Just bam. That shit out of my face.
And then he
stupid
starts
kid.
to cry.
You can tell him it's a weird gift. Yeah, that's one of the options. Like, this is a weird gift.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was just a little weird. I think I've only done like one bad thing to Toad, and it just seemed to skew the whole conversation.
The only thing I can think of that Toad would make it like Toad could have taken as bad that I did to him in my original playthrough was that whole scene where you're investigating and you're searching through his house and he's lying to you the entire time and you're trying to call him out on his lies. That's the only thing I can think of.
Right.
But other than that, like, I was nice to him, gave him money, did all sorts of stuff for him, went to his house first. Prince Lawrence is dead
Yeah.
because I went to his house first.
Mhm.
I don't think I ever
And
gave
then-
him money.
He's
I
gonna
did. He wouldn't
flip
take
me
it.
shit. No.
I found a way to
I
give
wanted
it
to
to
give
him.
him money.
Yeah, I
I'd
gave
give
him money.
to Faith. And then I tried to give him money when I saw him in the pawn shop trying to pawn the donkey jacket, and he's like, I don't want your fucking charity.
Yeah, you
It's like, oh, okay, then
you run
get
in,
out of
you
here.
run into him one more time and you're able to be like, this is the fucking crooked man's money, or this is somebody, I can't remember whose. You're able to be like,
Oh, it's this is Crane's money. He stole it from us, so you should have it. I think
something
is
like
what it is.
something like that. Yeah,
Something
like
like that,
this
yeah.
is basically your money anyway, or something like
Yeah.
that. This is money.
And that was the only time I never really was with Toad. Is I think your option is do nothing, give him the money, or side with him and tell Snow off.
Oh,
And I just gave him the money. And I think,
he gets real happy. He's like, "Oh, this is Crane's money. Okay," and he's like,
but I'm pretty
Go buy your
sure
glamour
he
and
spent
play.
it on booze and cocaine instead.
"Yeah, he might
Instead of a
have."
glamour.
That's an unfounded accusation, sir.
But he does.
Did he have a glamour? No, he didn't.
No, he says at the end, he's like, I
Seen a cocaine.
literally came here to buy the glamours, and Snow wouldn't hear it. And I wanted to be like, well, let's go talk to Snow then. And if she's got a different story, then you're going to the fucking farm. But if you're telling the truth, then you don't need to go. Like,
Toad was the shiftiest, shadiest character in the entire game. I hated him the most. Everybody else was pretty easy to read. Their motivations were quite clear. Toad, for some reason, played himself off as this sap, but he was totally fucking with you the entire time. And
He was also kind of a jerk to his kid.
yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Get the fuck back to bed.
Yeah.
Yep, that was funny. Well, I
Anyway,
forgot.
down
You
with
guys almost
both.
let me forget. There's a scene. There's a little joke built in
Oh, yeah.
that I wanted to talk about. It's really funny. There's a scene where you're talking to Gren in the bar, and he's depriving himself from sleep, from a medicine that's supposed to make you sleep. And
Oh, yeah.
he's also
Because
drinking.
he says you get high.
Yeah, he's like, you get a real nice high from it. And then he starts drinking. He mixes alcohol with it, which the doctor tells him explicitly not to do. And you're having this conversation with him, and eventually it ends with him just going face down into the table. And it comes up on the screen, Gren will not remember this conversation.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
I just thought that was...
Rem will not remember.
Yeah, that was
Did
funny.
you guys take the shot with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
did
really
not.
paranoid.
I was
Yeah,
I was a little bit
I was
too,
really
but
was like, did he put the medicine in this shot and now it's mixed?
I figured if he
and
did,
then
I'll,
I'm gonna
I'll go
pass
sleep in time
out.
for a little bit and it'll be fine.
You guys were far less trusting. Like, you guys didn't
No,
trust
I
anybody at
didn't
all.
trust
did you?
anybody.
Now,
It was
I
a chance to extend an olive branch to someone who's hated me, unjustified. So
See, Gren did not hate me because
Huh.
I did not tear off his arm.
Oh, I did.
I didn't care about his arm either.
did.
Yeah.
Fuck his arm.
Gren
the
was
trash.
actually, for the most part, pretty polite with me for the rest of the game.
See, I tore his arm off, and I feel like I won him over in the end. I wanted to take him aside and be like, Gren, real sorry about that arm thing. Like, that was my bad. You did come at me first, but I mean, you did earn it. But just like, sit down next time. But no hard feelings, hopefully.
See, but like, I didn't have any reason to not trust anybody. Like, Luke's saying he didn't trust anybody at all. No, I pegged it pretty early on that the Tweedles, if they were not the people, thank you, Tyler, if they were not the guys that actually pulled the trigger, they were working for that guy. And I pegged that pretty early on. And everything else I just viewed as a distraction, as just some other thing to build the world and try to get me look at these other things. When really what I needed to do was get to the person that's pulling all of the strings, and I thought the Tweedles was the best way through that. So I hated the Tweedles with a passion, but I didn't care about anybody else.
So what you're saying is easier to paint everything as black or white and then deal with it that way than to try to analyze every situation on its own merit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. I wasn't wrong. Going
No, it's
after
an
the
extremely
Tweedles would have
efficient
led me to
way
the
to
Crooked
deal
Man.
with the world, and there's nothing wrong
I'm a
with that.
cop, Tyler.
Yeah,
I'm a cop.
yeah, you're good or you're bad.
Exactly. You're either with us or you're the enemy.
Okay, just wanted to.
So
From the
clear that
cop's
up.
point of view, the Jedi are evil.
So at the very end, you did one last scene where
Yeah.
Narissa walks up and talks to you,
Little Mermaid.
reveals that she lied about what she said to get Crane, kind of convicted. Like, she said that she heard him, order the killings.
You mean
Not Crane.
you mean the
Crooked
Crooked
Man.
Man?
Not Crane.
Mhm.
The Crooked Man. She said she sat in the room and heard him, order the killings of those girls, and then she's like, "Yeah, that didn't happen, but he couldn't go free." Which, maybe dirty, but might be one of those end justifies the means kind of things, where it's like, okay, maybe you lied, but he's gone and we're better for it.
It's someone who kind of really played it as a sheriff that would follow the law, though. That really
Yeah.
was like, oh, shit, okay, well,
Feels
everything I just did is now can just be thrown out.
You played it like a sheriff? Were you playing it the whole time like you were an actual cop as opposed to like
For the most part, yeah.
As
I try to
opposed
play
to
it more like
human.
that.
What do you mean?
Did you take your inspiration from Sheriff Eli?
There it is. I was wondering where it was going.
Yes. I'll just say yes.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
move on.
Okay.
So
Thanks, Luke.
So the bigger part is that she also reveals that, well, I'm not sure exactly what she reveals, but like her and like she had some of the same dialogue that Faith had at the beginning of the game. There's like a Usual Suspects style ending where you're piecing shit together and hearing dialogue playing back, and
The last thing Narissa says to you is the last thing that Faith said to you.
which is you're
you're
not
not such a bad guy.
yeah, you're not as bad as they say you are.
Yeah.
She says it in the exact same cadence and tone that Faith says and then walks away with her purse over her right shoulder and a cigarette in her hand and walks in the exact same way down the street away from you. Just like Faith.
Did Narissa smoke at all prior to this?
Yeah, she smokes in your office.
Okay.
Yep.
You offer her a cigarette. She's like, I'm not smoking that shit. I've got my own.
Which is the same thing that Faith tells you when she's, I think, or when you go to light her cigarette or something. There's some dialogue about throughout the whole game. Everyone's like, nobody fucking smokes those. What are you doing?
Smoking Pall Malls.
So, and then it just kind of, gives you the option to either run after her or let her go.
Did anybody run after her?
I did. Yeah.
I did.
And the credits rolled either way, I think. So.
Oh,
Yep.
gotcha.
It's like, yep, you run after her, roll credits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I think the developer said something to the effect of like, that's how we want it. We want you to fill in the blanks there, whether you think there was some kind of a love interest there, whether you think he's going to catch her and bring her back and try to make things right, whatever you think, you're right. So,
Right.
I don't know.
And given Faith's fable, like, that's got to be Faith wearing a glamour.
Yeah, that's what I read. Is like it could have been they could have
Is it?
fabled or they could have glamored and
She
Is
disguised
it
herself to
Faith?
get away from her father in her fable wearing the donkey suit. It seems like a natural fit to me that she would disguise herself to get out of the kingdom, to get away from the crooked man.
My personal favorite theory is the Bloody Mary theory. That because Bloody Mary is able to clone herself, that both Faith and Narissa have been dead this entire time, and it was Bloody Mary glamored up as both of them
Well,
when you run into
that's
them.
total bullshit, but yeah, that's neat.
Which is a total bullshit one, but it's the one that I want to be true, but I know that it's not.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we want Leg Game Bone to happen, but it's not going to.
I mean,
2016, hi.
now it's 20. Is it 2019?
19.
2019. Hi.
Hi.
So, yeah.
Wasn't there also a theory that it was Narissa who was dressed up as Faith?
In the beginning,
Yes.
yeah, there's a
Yep.
theory about
Yeah,
that.
maybe in the
yeah.
very beginning.
yeah.
I
So
don't know.
here's why with Brian's though you say Faith being glamored up to look like Narissa at the end. Here's
You have
why
to fill
I
in a lot of
don't.
blanks.
Well, here's why I don't buy that theory at all, and this is where it loses weight for me. Is we saw that when Lily was glamored up like Snow White, after she was killed, the glamour wore off. So the
Right.
glamour would have worn off Faith's body, and we would have found out that that was actually somebody who was
It
not
depends on
Faith.
how long it takes for that to happen. We
That's
don't
true,
know.
it does. But
They
I
also-
think we would have found that out.
They also say there's two things that never get fully resolved. One is like what TJ says about when Lily dies. He says the person that killed her kept saying, "Stop laughing at me," something like that. And
Yeah.
I never found anything else that led me to believe that was a hint
Huh.
or anything. And
They never called back
never
to that.
went back on that, and that bugged me throughout the whole game. And then the other thing was closer to what you were talking about, Krang, is like when they first are asking about what Dr. Swinehart finds with Faith's body, he keeps saying he needs to do more tests and that he's, it's like inconclusive who she is and blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? So I'm wondering if while the body was in his possession, it didn't change back. You know what I mean? Like in the time it took to transport the body from A to B or whatever, that it didn't switch back and he never saw Faith, he only saw Narissa or whatever. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So it switched back before he saw it.
Right, and then if nobody else ever
That
saw
could-
it,
that
then,
could be. Yeah, that could
I don't
be.
know. There's like a weird timing thing. I don't like
Like they put her in a body bag and then she switched back
Right.
inside the body
right. And
bag.
so he
and
opens
then,
it up and he's like, okay, here's a dead person, and like,
Yep.
We've got 90% of the puzzle pieces.
yeah, I don't like those kind of ending because I don't know. It just
I'm
leaves
okay
too
with
many
It
that.
feels
worms.
incomplete.
This one felt a little tacked on, like we didn't have a big crazy plot twist, so let's throw it in at the very end and then roll the credits. Like that just felt unnecessary. I would have been happy after the whole crooked man down the well bit to end it there.
As someone who loves plot twists and different theories about endings, I loved it.
That's cool.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it.
As far as endings for this type of game goes, though, it's a far better ending than what we got in Life is Strange, where you get to the end of Life is Strange and none of your fucking choices mattered whatsoever. It's all bullshit. Here's these 2 choices that you have to make at the very, very end, and everything that you've done up until this point is erased somehow or doesn't matter somehow. Whereas at least with Wolf Among Us, like, all of your choices actually meant something. They did something throughout the game.
I have a feeling that like the major plot points are going to be the same because realistically they can't have it branching,
Right.
like crazy and have multiple different endings, wildly different endings, because at that point, like you're writing 3 or 4 different games that people are only going to see a small fraction of. So I feel like the major story beats are still going to be there.
Majorly different.
Yeah,
but
it felt
still felt like it wrapped up a lot better.
And your choices are still permanent. Like we all chose to go to Toad's first, and Prince, what's his name? Prince
Lawrence.
Lawrence is dead in all of our games. And I watched a playthrough where somebody had not done that, and he's around. Like, and he stays around the whole game. So like that is that is a big difference.
Yep.
You know,
Wow.
it's one extra character that we did.
I think I'm gonna have to go through and replay this.
Yeah,
as well.
on my new asshole playthrough, I've gone and saved him, and then at the end, like, it shows of episode 1, it shows a scene of him saying something about his wife or something like that. But it's I haven't seen him again yet, but it makes it clear that you're going to see him again.
Yeah. Yep, it's neat. It's a neat game. I'm really glad I played it, and like I said, I'm probably gonna play through it at least one more time just to try to uncover do everything the opposite of what I did, just to see how it feels. But man, yeah, it's for a game. What did it come out in 2013, 2014?
Yeah,
it's still relevant.
Baby.
Still a great little thing to.
One of my
experience.
top favorite games I've played this year.
It's cool.
It was
man.
fantastic. I would say right now it's second favorite.
Awesome.
Behind Madden.
Oh no, No Man's Sky. The new patch was really good.
All right. Well, I think I'll do a little. There's the unspoilers. Okay, everyone can open their ears.
Spoilers end.
Spoilers end. Yeah. So,
Earmuffs off.
like I said, Brian will cut this all together to make a nice little thing with all the spoiler talk and one digestible thing if you want it, and we'll take it out of the main one.
it's late, so Kat's gonna be
I'm going to bed.
responsible.
I got to work
Hi,
in the morning.
Kat.
Understood.
Okay.
I'm glad you could join us. We will hopefully catch you next time.
I did finish Horizon, and we'll talk about that next time I'm awake.
All right. It's a date. Sounds good.
All right.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Man, who wants to... I'm all rusty. I have my stuff put away. All my toys are put away. Kring, here, I know you've been itching to tell us what's going on with Cuphead. So what's going on with Cuphead?
Cuphead's the greatest game in the world, Tyler. No, it's not the greatest game. Cuphead's fantastic. This little clip here that I put together, this little intro, is like barbershop quartet music. So right off the rip, you're immersed in this world of early 1920s, 1930s animation, and it's absolutely perfect. The way that they send you back to that time. And it's not just here. The music throughout the entire game is probably my favorite thing. So anyway, Cuphead, you're Cuphead, and I think your brother is the blue guy, Mughead.
Luigi.
Mughead, yeah.
Yeah, Luigi
Not
head.
Mario. Got it. Okay.
Not Mario.
Holy
What
shit.
happens? The story is that you they're gamblers, and they're rolling the dice at this casino that's owned by the devil, and the devil says that he's going to give them everything. So they got one roll of the dice. You win, you get everything that I have. You lose, and I take your souls. And of course you lose. So now what you're trying to do is go and get his the people who are in debt to him and get collect their souls for the devil, so that you can get out of your deal with him.
Okay.
So
Are you shooting with your fingers?
Give him a little
You're
one of
goddamn
these.
right. You're goddamn
Okay.
right. You give him one of these, and the sound that it makes
Finger
when
gun.
you're shooting is it's almost like a snap of the finger is what it sounds like. It's a really, really neat sound effect. The sound is so good in this game. But what you're seeing here is pretty much what this game is. It's mostly just boss fights.
Really?
These bullet hell boss fights is really all this is. And you're dodging and moving and trying to kick the snot out of these bosses, because these are the guys whose souls you're trying to collect for the devil. You've got tons of different weapons you can choose from that you can buy from this pig guy who owns the shop. He's a real cool dude, real gruff kind of sounding guy, but yeah, so you've got all sorts of different power-ups that you can choose from. The enemies are, in this instance, vegetables, because why not? Because 20's animation, when all things were, anthropomorphic.
Yep. It's real good.
Um,
And you get a grading at the end of the match.
You do get a grading at the end, and I didn't get a very good grade because I didn't parry enough. What you get is this overworld, much like Super Mario. You kind of move around from place to place. So you've got those boss fights, but then these little target ones are also, you're going to see here, they're run and gun levels. So you just kind
Okay.
of are, it's more of your traditional platformer style of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to it just being the boss fight. I think these, when the game was originally announced, it was going to just have the boss fights, but I think they put this in to make your average gamer feel more comfortable
Okay.
about the fact that it's not just boss fights, because I don't know, apparently that rubs some people the wrong way.
Right. That would rub me the wrong way. I would definitely feel like that was kind of strange.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit different.
And there's been games that have tried to do that. Like I can't remember. Well, Shadow of the Colossus is one. That's pretty much just boss fights and exploration. And there's been a few other ones I think that have kind of like blurred that line. But yeah, I mean, I heard that they also got like a huge reaction. I think Brian, you were telling me this is like they got a way bigger reaction to the initial announcement than they thought they would, and so they, hired more people, mortgaged their houses, and like, tried to
Went all
secure
in.
the extra money to make sure that this was something special. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I believe it too, because I've been pumped for this game for a very, very, very long time. This is the game that I've been looking forward to and then I die. But I've been looking forward to this game for quite a long time.
I love the look of it. It's incredible. It's
exactly
Brian.
a Disney cartoon. I mean, it's just
mhm.
Waiting for Steam
on the loading
to pop up
screens.
somewhere.
Loading screens have the little scratches and pops and everything.
Yep, and in those
That's really
scratches
cool.
and pops, you see him the whole time. And you can do there's an effect in the settings menu, color bleed, where you can like make it so that the lines start to blur and get fuzzy, like it's got this aged look to it.
the projector
as
maybe
opposed to-
isn't quite lining up sometimes and stuff too.
Yeah, something like that. So that's an effect you can add. I decided not to have that so prominently displayed because I had read, and this is my big complaint with this game, that it can be hard. Like the hitboxes are not very clear. It's hard sometimes to know where to hit an enemy. For instance, when I was fighting those vegetables, I can hit the onion anywhere on the onion, and it's fine. But when you're fighting the carrot, you have to hit him in the eyeballs. And if you do not hit the eyes, then it doesn't register as a hit. And there's nothing that would let you know that going from fighting the onion to fighting the carrot. Like it's just an
His eyes
inconsistency
aren't like
You don't
red. They're
know.
not glowing. They're not pulsing
Yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
not.
It doesn't like the game doesn't let you know that in any sort of contextual clue without you just going, why am I not hitting him? And then you just realize after a while, oh, you have to shoot him in the eyes, which seems kind of cheap. Feels not great.
Gotcha.
That's probably my biggest complaint. Other than that, though, the difficulty, while this game is incredibly difficult, and I die a lot here trying to do this boss battle, it's quick. You get back into the boss battle, you just hit the retry, you're right back in. You're not watching a 5-minute introductory sequence where it tells you all about the boss again. You're not having to go through a level to get back to the boss. It's right there. And then the boss fights themselves are fast. It's hard, but each boss fight, I think I've only ever had one go 3 minutes. Most of them are less than 2 minutes that you get them done. So it's not like it takes a long time. It's just incredibly challenging, and you're gonna screw up a lot. The other thing that's nice about the difficulty, because this was my big concern with this, is that I don't like games that are overly difficult just for the sake of being difficult. Like if that's the point of the game, it's not a game for me. But this is difficult.
That turned me off of Dark Souls for a long time. Is the kind of talk around it was just like,
yeah,
it's the fucking hardest game in the world, and only hardcore gamers can play it, and it's not for you, and you're a sissy, and fuck you.
Yeah, and that's stupid. Like, I'm interested in this game because of the art style. I don't care if it's hard, and I don't care if I lose my man card by playing it on easy, even though there's no difficulty selection with this. I want to play the game because I like the way it looks, and I like the idea behind this game.
Right.
I don't care about anything else.
I thought I'd read that there was a difficulty selection, but like you get something less from the bosses, or you don't get something specific from the bosses.
So there is. You can choose regular or simple for the boss fights. Simple makes them easier to beat, obviously. So you can unlock, because a lot of the boss fights, not only do you get a soul contract from them, you also unlock a new part of the map. So if you play them on simple, you unlock the portion of the map, but you do not get the soul contract, which you kind of need to finish the game. So you'll be able to play everything, but you won't be able to complete the game.
Weird. Okay. Well, it's really something to look at in motion. Like it's perfect. The way the way all the characters have that kind of like bop to them, and the way that they all kind of just like move around is fantastic.
Definitely perfectly mimic that cartoon style.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And so far, I've got 2 hours into this today so far. I have not noticed a single glitch or hiccup or anything, no frame rate drops or anything like that with this game. Like, it is absolutely flawlessly drawn, and
Wow,
I don't know, I love it.
it's amazing.
Worth the wait?
I didn't think that this is a game that I would love. Once I started reading reviews and people started talking about how hard this game is.
Yeah, this morning you were sounding pretty apprehensive.
Yeah, I thought, oh shit, is this going to be a thing that I bought and I'm never going to play it because I'm going to get in and hate it? But the quick nature of it makes it so it's not. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's not so bad. Like it's a manageable difficult.
Yeah,
and the game does a good job of teaching you things. And pretty much every time that I've died, I've forgotten like to use certain abilities, or I've just screwed up myself. I've never felt like I died because the game was punishing me for no reason.
yeah. You mentioned the whole difficulty thing, and we talked about that a little bit today about just how games have traditionally not been so supportive of playing games on easy or turning the difficulty down.
Yeah,
It's kind of a bummer because, I mean, Jesus, I'm watching you do this same boss fight. This is probably the 7th time I've seen you die and try it again.
Now, in fairness, this was the first time I had seen this boss.
Yeah.
What you saw me doing the vegetables earlier, I had already beaten that boss fight, and it took me about half a dozen, maybe 10 tries to beat that boss fight.
Right.
So
I could see this wearing on people, and this is definitely not. I mean, this is a dedication of
everyone.
skill. This is something that you got to really want to see through.
So, and I went after him on regular first. Before we started the show, I was playing again, waiting for you guys to get online. And I played through it on the simple, and I beat him on simple, and then went back to play him on regular after like learning what all of the variations of him will do, and it gets way easier. So I think I might just have to play through it on simple first, kind of to get a way to learn everything, and then go back and play it on regular. The problem is, like, you're seeing this gem variant, or you've also seen the sword variant, and there's the kitty cat variant. You don't know which one's going to come. So you might get through one variant you might get a variant like 2 or 3 different times, and then have progressed pretty far, and then die and come back, and now you get a different variant that you've never seen before.
Right.
So playing through it on simple allows me to see what the later stages of the boss looks like, so that when I get to them in regular, it's not like, oh, I'm learning this for the first time now, and I'm screwed if I die.
That's cool that that's there. Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think overall? You're gonna see this one through all the way to the end?
If I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I got through there's 4 worlds and then a finale, or 3 worlds and then a finale. I got through the first world pretty easily. I am really struggle busting it with all 3 of the boss fights in this second world. So to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Gotcha.
To beat them all on regular. I'll beat them all on simple, which, if that's the case, then that's good enough for me. I'll beat them all on simple, enjoy playing it, and then watch videos of people who are better than me beat it.
That's cool, though. That's cool that that's an option, you know. I like that. Well, good stuff, man. It looks great. I'm definitely going to try it out. Seems like it might cross that threshold of... You were talking about this morning about sometimes you're just not in the mood to memorize a fight and try to perfect it, and that seems to be what this game is demanding. So
it's well, here's the thing. It's not there's no memorization in it. Like, I'm noticing this every single time I get to a certain stage of the boss fight. The type of thing that the boss does might be the same, but like with those knives, they come out in a completely different order, and they move around in a completely different way every single time. So while, yeah, I'm still dodging these knives, it's not got a pattern to them. I'm not memorizing that pattern. I'm memorizing what I have to do when I'm learning what I have to do when this stage comes up.
right. Yeah. Seems good, man. Seems like it was worth the wait. I'm glad that Microsoft let them take their times with this and really polish it up.
Yeah, it's real good.
Oh, good stuff. Well, hey, for another 2D platformer, the game that I played finally, I bit the bullet, and I tried Hollow Knight through Steam, and holy shit, you guys. I love this game. I love it. It's I'm gonna skip this little intro, just get into the gameplay. It's everything Brian said it was. It's just this lonely little world that's just a bunch of little bugs, and it's dark and quiet and sad, and I love it. I was thinking about it all day. I was doodling the Hollow Knight on my papers at work while I was, taking calls and shit and doing my monotonous day job, and just going, man, I just want to be a little bug man running around and discovering things. The things that you like about Metroidvania games are here. All the exploration, all the, platforming bits. The combat is very much Zelda 2, and there's tons of nods to that game that are just kind of peppered throughout. I can't say enough good things about it. It's got more personality, I think, than Breath of the Wild, and that's my early impression. And that's a game I loved a lot, by the way.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a bold statement.
Well, and the reason I say personality, and I'm not saying it's a better game necessarily, but a thing that Breath of the Wild does really well is it has this great big lonely world, and that's kind of what I like about this game too. But when you do find something that's worth looking at, there's just enough either dialogue, written dialogue, or the sound design changes in a way that's meaningful, and it feels curated and intentional. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, those little moments are more... You have to kind of infer a lot of that. It's going to be more like what you're implying about the world. It's not as crafted, I guess. Like, for an example I used to use when I was talking about Breath of the Wild is like showing up and finding a burned down house, and there's one of the Wizrobes there, right? Like the fire guys. And you can kind of tell yourself a story about like, oh, well, you know, that guy maybe came and burned this house down, or maybe someone summoned him or whatever, but you're never actually told that story. Whereas here in Hollow Knight, you might find a lonely little bug in a corner and he's crying and you don't really know why. And you have to kind of put those things together and find out. There's a little story to be had there, and just that little bit of extra has made a big difference for me.
So you're using a controller, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which one?
I am using my Xbox 360 controller. Yeah.
I'm curious how a Pro controller would sync up.
Should be perfect. I mean, I don't know if the game natively will recognize it, but I assume it would. I don't know, man. It's
You know what? Your Pro controller will work perfectly when it comes out on Switch.
true, and I will be getting
Whenever that may happen.
I will be getting it on the Switch for sure.
So, Tyler, do you regret? Because I know you were having qualms about playing this game because you didn't want to get most of the way through and then have to start over.
Yeah,
do you regret starting it?
It's still no, I don't regret it, but it's still a concern of mine because I want to keep playing it, and I don't want to get so far that starting over will feel like a big hurdle. Brian mentioned something today though too, is like, I think we mentioned it last week, is they've got DLC coming for the game. They've got these planned releases, one of them being another character, Hornet, that you meet pretty early on in the game as a playable character. So at the very
so you could play
least,
through this.
Yeah,
You could play through this as Hollow Knight, and then when it comes out on Switch, pick it up on Switch and play through it as Hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah, that works.
That'd be cool.
I finished it this week.
Yeah.
Yep. The way it ends did nothing to diminish how I feel about it. I just adore this game. I thought I had my top 3 locked down for the year, but I'm not so sure now. It's knocking. It's knocking on the door.
It's not even October yet, Brian. How can they be locked down?
Felt pretty strongly about some of the games I've played early in the year.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
played a lot of big ones. You put a ton of time into Persona. There's some winners on there.
Him and those automatic tomatoes.
You got
Yep.
it. Yeah.
A lot of tomatoes.
I don't know. Everything works for me on every level in this game. I love the animation, the art style, the sound design is phenomenal, the music, everything. So, I don't know. I might play through it all the way to the end on Steam, and then just start fresh on the Switch when that comes out too. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. Fucking play Hollow Knight. Try it. It's real good. So that's that. I played some mobile games, but I'm gonna spare you. None of them are like really great. Stormbound. I'll just say check out Stormbound. It's kind of like a Hearthstone meets a strategy game kind of thing, and it's done really well, and I really enjoyed it. So we don't have to go into crazy detail.
Did you play, what is it? Clash Royale? Is that the big popular free to play?
Yeah, I've never
the one that followed up.
I tried that, but I wasn't into it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Stormbound felt a little like that, where you're playing cards to put units down and they march ahead. And
yeah. It's
a little bit of that feel.
It's similar to that, yeah. I like the whole look and feel of this one a little bit more. So, yeah, check that out if you got a mobile device that is a smartphone. So. Yeah, I think we're gonna switch over to the news. Luke, you've had a long day, man. We'll release you from our service here.
Always a pleasure
Tyler,
being
honey.
here, and I shall be here next
All
week.
right, pleasure having you, man. Take it easy.
Yep.
Yep.
Till next time.
And with that, we shall do the news.
Tyler, sweetie,
We won't.
baby.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, what you need?
Some of us played some Golf Story.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
When you guys give me YouTube videos and not other ones, I miss them somehow. Yeah, Golf Story.
Just because you're not into athletics and sports games doesn't
hey,
mean cringing on internet.
Yeah, sorry.
Athletes.
The sports game of the year. The sports game of the year. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. I didn't want to diminish your time spent here.
Thank
Hold,
you.
please. Hold, please. You can go ahead and start talking about it while I fumble around to find the video, if you'd like.
Yeah, I only heard about it just a few days ago and picked it up on the Switch for $15.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this. I've heard comparisons to Stardew Valley and just kind of the look and the sort of simplicity of it. Like it's a very quaint world. It's a kind of a RPG-ish golf game. Like it's lighthearted and silly. You're talking to people and taking on little side quests.
It is exactly Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance. I would imagine
I never
that
played that.
that people who are comparing it to Stardew Valley are just people that have never
I
played
think it's the visuals.
Mario Golf.
Probably.
Like even from a visual standpoint, this looks very similar to Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance. It like the way the courses all look. Now the trees and stuff are different. Like they're moving around and there's wisps of stuff on the wind, which you didn't get on the Game Boy Advance because couldn't have done
I'm
it.
sure
But
it's 20 years later. Yeah.
but from a just sort of initial like glance at it, it looks a lot like the Mario Golf games did, and they were fantastic.
Brian, I heard you had some gripes though, small ones, but
I do have some gripes, is that the game does a really terrible job of explaining really anything about how it controls. Like it gives you the most basic explanations and then leaves you to figure out the control scheme, which is not simple or intuitive at all.
Gotcha.
I don't know how far you got, Kring, if you feel the same, but it was like push Y to drop the ball. Okay, have fun.
I don't feel the same way, but that's because I've played a lot of top-down 2D golf games. So it controls very similarly. It controls very similarly to a lot of those. You push up or down on your stick or your D-pad to make your shot longer or shorter, and then you go side to side to aim it side to side. Like it's not something that it gets explained to you, but it's something that's intuitive to me because I played a lot of this style of game.
I'm real glad we have you here, Kring, because you surprise me endlessly with the stuff that you end up being into. Like hearing the words, I played a lot of 2D golf games. Like just that blows my mind. I played both Mario Golf games on the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color. I played Jack Nicklaus Golf on the original game. I played the shit out of Jack Nicklaus Golf. It was one of two games.
Bear.
My mom got a Game Boy when she had surgery in the hospital, and she had two games on it. She had Tetris and she had Jack Nicklaus Golf, and I played the shit out of both of those games constantly.
All right.
And then I had when I bought an NES for the first time when I was like 18. I bought NES Golf, and I played the shit out of that for a while too.
So
I don't know. I love this, and then I play a lot of. Even though these are 2D, I've played probably 4 or 5 different Tiger Woods games. Like played the crap out of them. And they control very similarly.
Huh.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That explains
golf games are my thing. I don't ask me.
This is my first golf game.
I played I
So-
played a lot of Mario 64 Golf. Mario Golf 64, whatever it was. I played the 64 version, you guys. I remember really liking it. But yeah, I don't remember if I owned it or I borrowed it from a friend or rented it a lot. I don't know. I
Well,
did enjoy it.
Tyler, if you had the transfer pack Remember that thing?
Yeah, I do.
The transfer
I
pack.
don't remember the
If
transfer
you had the
pack
if you
come out.
had the transfer pack, you could transfer your character data from the Game Boy Color version of Mario Golf into the 64 version, and then play with your character on the 64.
Shut the front door.
Yep. There you go.
Nintendo was ahead of their time, and then
Cutting
now
edge.
they're
Cutting
behind
edge.
of their
Now
time.
they're way behind. Yep.
But yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you
Yeah.
guys are digging it. It's a neat little thing.
Yep. I'm only a couple hours into it, but it's really charming and fun so far. I think I've got the controls down pretty well. Like I said, I
Yeah.
wish it would explain it a little bit more, or put like a manual in the menu somewhere that explains it. Like I didn't know you could run by pressing B until I got to a quest where it's like, hey, go touch all these flags and come back. And it's like, I can't possibly do this. This is impossible. Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's
can run. Look at that. I just hit all the buttons until one of them ran.
That's another holdover from the Mario Golf games on the Game Boy, is that you would hold the B button to run.
Every golf game,
But they don't tell you that.
Every golf game I've ever played, there's been no running. You just hit a ball and then show up wherever your ball landed, and hit it again. Like that's
Well,
With
this
every
isn't
golf
like-
game you ever played being
Mario Golf.
Mario
Yeah.
Golf 64.
Well, this
no.
isn't like Mario Golf though, because this is like kind of like got a story. I know that this is a little bit different. Like
it's called Golf
you're-
Story, isn't it?
Well, even the Mario Golf games would take place at like a golf academy. Like you'd be there as like learning to play golf at a professional level or something. I don't know. And you'd end up challenging Mario. This guy's learning or trying to train to get on the pro tour. So there's like a golf clubhouse, and there's like there's like
There's
grounds.
ducks that you can shoot through.
There's
Yes.
an overworld map.
Yeah.
So
Yep, I just went
So
to my
it's
second
not
course.
just playing on courses. There's more to it.
my grandparents used to have one of the PGA Tour games for Microsoft MS-DOS, on their computer back in the day. So I used to play that shit whenever I went over to Granny's house. It's all coming back now, guys. Yeah, there was no running around in that game. The running around didn't feel good because it didn't exist. You just teleported to your ball when you hit it. So, yeah, well, cool, man. I think that's pretty neat. I hope you guys get a lot of value out of it, because it's like what, $8?
15.
15.
15.
It's early, but I'm pretty pleased so far.
Gotcha.
To me, this is exactly Mario Golf. This is exactly what I expected and what I wanted. So I think $15 is like $15 for this is a steal.
Oh, man.
Especially when I think the Mario Golf on the Game Boy was like $40 when it first came out. So $15 for this is a hell of a good deal.
Yep, I played it on my lunch break today.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Can I go into the news now?
If you
I
must.
guess.
All right. Here it comes. No stopping it now. Play the music. Okay. So October. Hey, October's almost here, you guys. It's like 1 or 2 days away, depending on when you're listening to this. And there's some stuff. Hey, remember Battle Chasers Night War? Do you?
Yeah, I hate the name of that game, but I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, it looks neat. Looks like a
What is this game?
It's a crusty,
Don't worry, Chris.
crusty old RPG, turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
the
a
Switch.
crusty old RPG. Okay.
On the Switch
Yeah.
though, and the graphics look neat. They look kind of.
Is it coming out on the Switch?
Yeah.
In October? I know it is eventually. I didn't know if it was
right. You might
think
be
that
right.
might be
a later thing.
TBD.
I think you're right. Yeah, it says PS4,
Steam.
Xbox, and
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on Steam.
okay.
Y'all.
Yeah, another. God, they need to hammer that down and get people developing that simultaneously, because
Yeah. Like Rhyme is a game that I thought I was gonna get on the Switch. Comes out in December. It's been out on PC and PS4 for months. Like
yeah,
they're way behind, it seems.
that's a bummer, because a lot of time, by the time it makes its way onto the Switch, I'm like, either
Well,
not
it's like Hollow Knight.
interested
If you want to play it, you're not gonna, like, you might wait an extra month. You don't want to wait an extra 6 months.
I fucking Google it every day, you guys. Hollow Knight Switch. I Google it every day. It's disappointing every day.
Nintendo.
Is it
please.
today? Is it now? Is it Christmas yet, Mom? Like that's it's really
Yep,
old.
go check the mailbox again. Maybe the mailman forgot and turned around and came back and delivered your package. Go check again just to be
Yeah,
sure.
maybe I missed him while I was getting a glass of juice.
You hit the nail on the head, though, Tyler. Like, the longer it takes to come on the Switch, by the time it gets there, you're like, well, no, sorry, now it's too late. Like, I've missed the boat because there's so much good stuff coming out this year that, like, they don't have time to screw around.
Guys, I'm gonna be helms deep in Shadow of War here in about 2 weeks. So
2 weeks, Tyler. That's 10 days.
10 days. That's right. Let's get up on this.
10 days. That's a week and a half, bro.
Anyway, I'll just swing through these. Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen. What a fucking terrible name that shit is. Sorry.
What's with terrible
I
names?
don't know. That one's real bad though. That's happening on consoles, so go on and get that. Forza Motorsport 7.
Is that you, Brent? Or is it Forza Horizon for you these days?
It's Horizon.
Or nothing.
Horizon's the open world one. Give me that open world over the.
Simulation.
Oh,
This
here
is
you are
like-
on a track. You race this track, and then that's it. Nope. Give me the open world.
Gotcha.
The open world one's definitely more appealing to me, where it's not just races, but it's like I'm just gonna fucking drive around and look at the pretty world.
The open world one has less punishing driving mechanics, so it's a little bit more
casual.
forgiving, a little bit more casual. Yeah.
Raiden 5 Director's Cut? Is this something
There was a Raiden.
There's a Raiden 1 through 4?
There was a Raiden
Yeah.
5 not director's cut.
Right. This seems to be a very Japanese plane flying game.
Is it like one of those bullet hell shooters?
I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe not. It seems
Some of these I don't know what they are.
seems to be extremely Japanese. So, there you go. There's something called A Hat in Time. I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and guess that that's Japanese as hell, too. A Hat in Time. Oh, yeah. It's a 3D platformer. That kind of looks neat, though.
Yeah.
Hat in Time.
They're still putting out 3DS games.
Yeah,
fuck
Lady
Nintendo.
Layton, the Millionaire Ariadone's Conspiracy. Ariadone.
Lady Layton. Is that like the Professor Layton?
I have
I'm
no
assuming
idea.
so.
Because Professor Layton games were the shit on the DS.
Those were decent.
Okay, it's probably more of that.
Mario and Luigi RPG would be good if I had a DS.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they couldn't bring it on the Switch.
All right, I'm just gonna fire through the rest of these because we could probably talk about each of them for a long time. Cyber Dimension Neptunia 4 Goddesses.
That's a terrible
Here
name.
you go. October 10th. Middle Earth Shadow of War. Oh my God, you guys! I pre-ordered it. It's official. I'm getting that game. Yeah. So there you go. Raid World War II. Tohao Kabuto 5 Burst Battle. Tohao Kabuto. Anyway, that's a thing that exists. The Evil Within 2.
It
And
was an Evil Within one. Huh?
yeah, and then Fire Emblem Warriors on Switch and the 3DS.
It's-
Yeah.
Simultaneously releasing on both consoles. You're telling me the Switch and the 3DS are getting the same
They have
game?
the
Don't
technology.
make a big deal out of it. If Nintendo knows that's what you want, they'll never do it again. Shh. Etrian Odyssey 5 Beyond the Myth. That's coming
I
out.
would be all over that if I had a 3DS.
It's a
I've
3DS.
played the Etrian Odyssey games.
Okay, all right. What are those? Crusty ass old RPGs?
Crusty ass old RPGs. Real brutal, roguelike.
GT Sport on PS4. Assume that's cars.
Gran Turismo Sport?
Yep, there you
Is that
go.
what that is?
That's probably it. Rogue Trooper Redux on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
I have pre-ordered that one.
All right. WWE 2K18 for people excited about that. It's not me. Alex, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This game was something that I looked into briefly, and it looks like a big, giant, hairy mess of a thing. You seem to be able to choose, like, it seems like an open world RPG kind of. You seem to be able to choose like different classes. One of them's kind of like a technomancer type thing where like you use technology and it looks like magic. I don't know.
Post-apocalyptic science fantasy universe.
Yeah, it looks like it could be good, but it's from the people who made the Gothic series. Remember those RPGs?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looks like it has potential, but it also kind of looks janky, and it looks like it's trying to do a million things at once. So I'm gonna check out some reviews for that. I'm casually interested in it. Kring just broke his laptop, keyboard, screen, phone.
No, I just dropped something. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
It's fine.
You okay? Sure, you're okay? Do we need to call for help? 911? Hello, emergency? Sorry.
I'm just flipping my keys and I dropped them. Okay.
There's a game called Siberia coming out for Switch. Is that the one that cats real into?
Yep. This is a 15-year-old adventure game, 10-year-old adventure game.
And it's just coming out to Switch just cause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skyrim's not the only one, Tyler.
Yeah, Skyrim's only a couple of years. That's pretty good. Okay, here's the big one. October 24th, Destiny 2, PC, fucking finally.
That's the big one?
For me it is. Just Dance 2018. Knights of
There it
Azure
is.
2, Bride of the New Moon is coming to PS4, Switch, and PC. Road Rage is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Simpsons Road Rage?
Strap in, here comes another one. Yomawari, Midnight Shadows for PS4 and Vita. I don't think we need to talk about the next one. It's like Super Mario Odyssey. I don't know what that is. Just keep going.
Probably really Japanese.
Yeah, it sounds Japanese. It seems to be a weird hat involved. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be for me.
Is it?
Anyway, yeah. Freaking Super Mario Odyssey is finally coming out on October 27th. Also, Assassin's Creed Origins. Man, that's unfortunate. I was kind of interested in that game, but like, phew. That is a busy couple of days there.
They walked right into a buzzsaw with that release date. That was the dumbest date for them to pick. Like, push that thing back into December when nothing's coming out and you might actually get something.
Boy, if there's something everyone's clamoring for, it's another Assassin's Creed game, and we should definitely put it up against...
It's been so long.
Yeah, we should definitely put it up against the Wolfenstein sequel, Destiny 2 on PC, and Super Mario on the Switch. Yikes. Oh, and also Bubsy, the Woolies Strike Back. Because the new Bubsy. Bubsy? Yeah, you thought he was...
Bubsy.
You thought you saw the last of Bubsy? You thought Bubsy was gone? No.
Wait, is it a 3D Bubsy or is it a 2D Bubsy?
I'm glad you asked, Kring. Let's Google it and find out.
No, like, because Bubsy was a thing. Bubsy was a game that I... back when I was a kid and had a gaming magazine, it was like the first game that I saw in a gaming magazine that I was like, oh my god, I have to have this game, and I never ended up getting the game.
I don't understand you at all. I don't understand who you are.
It's a
gaming magazine. You saw a gaming magazine and you saw fucking Bubsy, and that was like, oh my god, I need this game.
I was like 8.
Right, but okay, it's fine. It's fine.
I was a child, Tyler.
You had a weird growing up.
It was the 90s.
You didn't have an NES.
That was when they were trying to do the mascots with attitude.
I had a Sega Genesis at the time.
Yeah. Okay. This actually looks kind of cool though. It seems to be a 2D platformer, Kring, but 2.5 3D. Like it's
because
2D,
there was
2D
Bubsy 3D. I think that came out on the Saturn.
I don't know.
Do yourself a favor and look it up at some point because it is a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I imagine it would be.
Yeah, it's real bad. It's worse than Superman 64.
That's hard to imagine. I'll take your word for it. This looks weird, but doesn't look terrible. There you go, Bubsy.
To me, it looks like what was that? It's got a similar style to it. What was that game?
Super Mario, I think, is it?
Max, The Curse of Brotherhood.
Okay.
Did you guys play that game at all?
No.
It was free on the Xbox for a while.
Was it?
Yeah, at one point.
Okay. Well, hey, let's move on to
Anyway.
the voice actor strike. Hey, they seem to have found some kind of middle ground and came up with a tentative end to that.
What's the terms? Do we know?
From what I understand, the big thing is that they've agreed on a type of bonus structure that allows the voice actors to get bonuses for like return sessions, but doesn't include any kind of like profit
Residuals.
sharing or residuals or anything like that. I think the big thing is like they don't want somebody to come in and do 4 lines for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and then find out that like millions of people out of nowhere bought that game not knowing it was going to be this crazy huge hit and wind up having to pay out voice actors, a crazy amount of money. I kind of get that. But it does give them an opportunity to make more money for continually coming in to do more work and that sort of thing. You can get bonuses for it. So
This is hard because there's some games that like the voice actors need to get paid just as much as a regular actor because like Wolf Among Us, we just talked about the voice work in that game is phenomenal and that game would not be anywhere near as good. Life is Strange as well. Like these games would not be what they are without that phenomenal voice work. But then there's Call of Duty games where nobody gives a shit about the voice acting in it and it doesn't add anything to the game really.
This is one of those things where people complain that other people work on a game too, and they work more hours and work harder on the game, and they don't get, extra compensation or better compensation. And my answer to that is the same as when people bitch about a $15 minimum wage. Like, don't try to tear down the people from getting more. You should get more too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, the problem is not with one person going up a rung on the ladder. It's with the
Right.
people at the very top not being
Pull
able
them
to
back
go
down.
down at all. Yeah, that's where they make it seem like, oh, we wouldn't be able to afford to pay anybody if we had to do that. No, you would. You just wouldn't be able to have 3 mansions. Okay, sorry. And
You wouldn't be making
and
millions of
capitalism,
dollars
right?
a year.
But yeah, there's also some stuff in there about more transparency. Like there's nightmare stories about people walking into sessions where they haven't got a chance to really look at the script and they get handed real ridiculous stuff to say that they're maybe not comfortable with, on a moral standpoint. There's times where people don't know that they're in an Assassin's Creed game, for example, or they don't know that they're just reading a part and they're not told anything
They have
about
no
it.
context.
Yeah, like there's some of those things where you might, as a person, not want to take that job if you knew that your voice was going to be attached to a certain character or a certain franchise, and
Having that transparency as well can also allow them to negotiate better contracts up front,
Exactly.
so that they're not looking at, oh well, this game is sold millions and millions of dollars, and I didn't know this is what I was reading into, and now I did it for a pittance. Where no, if going in, I'm working on an Assassin's Creed game, I'm working on a Grand Theft Auto game, I'm working on some huge gigantic AAA title, you probably have a leg to stand on to negotiate a little bit more money than if you're going and working on an indie title.
So it sounds like it's all good. It's all positive for the most part. Hopefully this sets a precedent and makes it easier for them to find more of these negotiating points down the road. I don't know. It's a
step in the right direction.
I can see
It
both
is.
sides to a degree. Like I can see, a programmer who puts in, 60-hour work weeks for several weeks straight and doesn't get anything extra.
But then don't a lot of those guys, if they're employees of that corporation, don't they also get bonuses based on the performance of the company a lot of times? Or is that dependent upon the company?
It really depends.
Probably.
It's
I would
crazy.
expect
Like
so.
a lot of times, a lot of these guys get canned right after the project finishes. I know people, at least one people who was directly involved in game design, and the second that they released on Steam, all of the people didn't have work anymore and were told basically, you can stay and work until we get more funding, or and not get paid. We'll pay you when we have money, or you can not work here anymore if you'd like. Those are their two options. So,
Is that legal? You can
At
is
will
that legal for them
employment.
to say? No, for them to say you can continue to work here, but we can't pay you. Like,
if they agree
pretty
to
sure
it,
that's not legal.
I think if they
at all.
agree to it, yeah, I don't know.
I think we're in the tall grass as far as our knowledge and expertise here.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good.
yeah,
Point.
you're not wrong.
I guess like you said, Brian.
If you are,
let's get everybody up
if you
the
are,
road a little bit more.
if you are an employment attorney, email us. Let us know.
Mail at
Sponsor
questlogcast.com. Yeah, sponsors too. Yeah, get us Taco Bell if you can. I don't care. Really.
Yeah, something. Or a gift card. I don't know.
Coupon for a car wash. Whatever.
Yeah.
Brian, you put Diablo 3 news in here,
Fine.
which is a real cute
I
title
was
because
hoping
it's
Luke would still be around.
yeah, it's hey, it's Diablo 3 news. The news is that there's not going to be any news at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it, dudes. They basically said, hey, we've got announcements coming later, but they ain't going to be at BlizzCon, so don't be expecting anything crazy.
In fairness, this is kind of a mercy kill, because do you remember last BlizzCon?
Yes.
People were analyzing, like a Diablo promo picture, and they were like, you can see 4 pips on the die in the corner. That means Diablo 4 is being announced.
It was
Everyone
part
watch.
of the swag bag. They gave out actual dice sets, and the 4-sided die, the 4 was like the 4 on the number 4 on the die was like
8% bigger.
Roman numeral or something instead of just a regular 4, and they found out later it was like a misprint, didn't mean anything. Like, it's just somebody fucked up, and some of them came out that way. And they weren't supposed to. So there you go. Yeah, I whatever. It's fine. Like you've said many times, Brian, Diablo 3 doesn't owe me anything. They'll put out content, and I'll come back and check it out for a while.
Well,
fine.
when did Diablo 3 come out?
2012, May 12th, 2012.
When did Diablo 2 come out? Wasn't that like 98?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
that sounds right.
So why would we be expecting? I mean, when I look at like the Blizzard takes a long time to release a new iteration of a game.
Yeah.
They release many expansion packs and many updates and stuff over time, but a fully fledged new title, what was it, like 20 years for StarCraft?
It's a long time. Something like that.
So
50,
why would
yeah.
you have expected it anyway?
I don't know
quickly.
that they're planning on carrying on with that, 15-year development cycle.
Of all the
it's
franchises,
just a hope.
it is it's the one that's the most rough around the edges right now. It looks rough. It's
The redheaded stepchild of Blizzard, if you will.
It feels like that right now for sure. Yeah, WoW is going to be facing down a new expansion really soon. They just had a huge update. Overwatch is still kicking out new content and extremely popular. Heroes is gaining leverage in the esports world, and they're continuing to kick out content. Hearthstone the same. Diablo's just kind of been stagnant since the Necromancer release and hasn't really changed much. Even with that, it didn't change a whole lot. So
Do you think this has to do with the fact that they can't monetize that game? All the other games that they can't monetize it as well. All the other games you've said, Heroes, Overwatch, they all have these
extra ways
big
to get
rich,
money. Yep.
big rich marketplaces. They're very active on esports, and you got WoW, which is subscription based. Is it maybe that this is just not the?
I think if we do see a sequel to Diablo, there will be a renewed focus on getting together with other people. That seems to be the thread that ties all the Blizzard games together. There's a competitive element to them, and there's a definitely like this is better with friends element. And that's something that Diablo still kind of lacks. You can really be a hermit in Diablo and just kind of play it as a single player game. I think that that'll be the biggest change that happens to the franchise if they were to release a Diablo 4. And I think you're onto something there. There'd probably be some kind of cosmetic system, loot crate system, some kind of something that could keep you pumping money into the game, because Blizzard makes a shit ton of money doing that. So
it's profitable.
Yep.
And that's why I wouldn't expect to see a. I mean, they're not talking about Diablo because it's not making them any money.
Yeah.
Why would you be putting effort into a game that's not making you any money?
Yeah, I mean, you got to shift development around eventually, but I still remember.
Well, yeah, but
I still remember the BlizzCon leading up to the announcement of Diablo 3, and the hype was just unlike anything else. Like that whole teaser trailer, trailer. They had like a website that they launched, and it was this big frozen ice thing, and every day, like a new part of the graphic changed and like melted away or something, and it finally revealed Diablo behind it after like the last day, and people were just losing their minds on the internet.
That's
It
awesome.
was something real neat, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until probably sometime next year to hear any more big announcements, I would imagine, for
Probably.
Diablo. There's not really anything after BlizzCon. There's no more conventions or anything that happen until what is it, like what's the big tech conference that happens in January?
The CES.
CES, and there's usually not a whole lot of games talk at those, so
You might get something out of Microsoft or Nintendo or Sony, but you're not gonna like one of those big players. But you're not gonna get something out of the
software
not to say that
developers.
Blizzard not to say Blizzard's a smaller player, but the smaller players
Yeah,
you won't
it's
see
more
you
of
won't
a
see
hardware,
usually much out of
more
them.
of a hardware show.
Yeah, it's more of a hardware show.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I guess briefly, the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer happened. There's a bigger trailer out for it, story trailer. Did you guys all watch it?
Yeah.
I did.
didn't watch it.
They showed an expected release time too.
Are there horse balls?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to watch it.
I'm gonna play it now.
That's what gets Brian to watch a trailer,
Yeah,
whether or
yeah.
not there's horse balls.
Put horse balls in your trailer. I'm there.
Yeah, there they are. They're just a swaying.
Oh. The balls are implied because there's a horse, but
Oh, you'll get to them.
They don't. They don't
geez.
actually have to be there.
Well, they're there. Some poor motherfucker had to model and animate balls. Like there was probably a team of people.
So we live in a
I want our
world
best
where
man on this.
horses come both with and without balls.
That's inappropriate. Oh,
So
Well,
why
I
can't
don't think there's science to back that statement up.
yeah,
Go
they
on.
do that with.
why are they
Not check
modeling
out.
stallions to begin with? Why aren't they just modeling mares
Crane,
the whole
take
time? And then
take
nobody
a
has
breather.
to.
Hold on. It's not
model
just
balls.
balls. I'm pretty sure there's dong too. So, hey, horse dong.
Oh, and
like-
there's cowboys and western things going on too.
Oh yeah, also that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's not just horse balls.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That guy modeling that stuff had to feel like the one
Champion.
the alien guy on that Rick and Morty episode where they're naked in the simulation and he's got to make sure that they're still in there. He's got to look at their
The nakedness.
their
yeah.
balls, their nakedness.
Yeah.
He's got to feel like that guy.
There's a guy in this trailer that looks kind of like George W. Bush. Right here, this guy threw me off a little bit. I'm gonna pause it. Like, just the still picture doesn't look like him at all, but like in motion, it did for a second to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting.
Wait, no, he looks like oh, what is that guy's name? Hang on a second.
Okay.
Hang on.
We're all gonna wait while you do. Anyway, Red Dead Redemption looks great, and that trailer didn't say PC anywhere on it, so I don't fucking care. Sorry, console people.
God, what is
I have
this
a chip
actor's
on.
name?
I have a chip on my shoulder about this.
Tyler, just play it on your goddamn
I'm not
Xbox.
going to, Kring. I'm not gonna do it.
It'll
Please.
probably be Xbox anywhere.
No, I don't care. I don't care.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh,
Boom.
Yeah, nailed it.
That's who I'm thinking. He looks like Thomas Hayden
He
Church.
did kind of look like that. You know what?
does.
Hey, you know what, Kring? You're right.
Thank you.
So
About you playing it on your Xbox?
Vindication.
it's not gonna happen. It just isn't. I'm not.
Then while you're waiting like an idiot
Yeah.
for it to come out on
Definitely that.
PC, I'm gonna be playing it and just dangling every juicy detail in front. I'm gonna spoil
Every
the shit out
horse
of it for you,
You know
Tyler.
what?
Every horse
should-
ball, I'm gonna dangle it.
You should buy him a copy. Just give it to him.
I dare you to not play this. I dare you.
Yep.
I'll buy it and open it. It's not like he can just return it. It's an unsealed copy. Here you
I mean,
go.
I can trade it in.
I'll buy him a digital download code.
Now you're onto something. Yeah, it just bums me out, man. Like I just want to play on my PC. It's all. I wanna do.
They announced Darkest Dungeon for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, it's official now.
I'm seeing it. Looks like on Red Hook's Twitter.
Breaking news: Darkest Dungeon coming to the Switch. Well, that's good news. I know we've been saying for a long time that needs to be a thing, and they've said before, they've hinted that they want to do that.
Yeah.
So is that a thing that's going to happen in 2020?
At this rate, probably.
Yeah.
You know, it's 13 hours
That's
ago,
exciting.
and there's no date. So, there you go. We just know that it's a thing. Well,
I'd buy it again.
tune in
Yeah.
next time to find out what happens with Darkest Dungeon on the Switch when we return. No.
Will it show up before Tyler dies?
I think that is going to wrap it up for us for this week. We went quite long with our Wolf Among Us talk and all that stuff, so we'll start playing this
Yeah,
out.
we did.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for joining along. As always, you can find our show right at questlogcast.com. You can get some nifty show notes that Brian puts together. You can find the YouTube link there. You can get a SoundCloud download right there. Put it on your smartphone, why don't you, you animals?
It's portable.
Yeah, it's portable. You
Bella.
could take us with you.
Poor
iTunes,
lady.
Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google
Hmm.
Play Music.
Yeah.
Are you at work? Bet it doesn't block Google Play Music. My work doesn't. Shh, don't tell anyone. That's how I listen to podcasts at work.
Restricted content. Games.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, follow us on Twitter. You can find out when the show goes on. Spoiler alert, it's usually about 11 o'clock at night on Saturdays, unless it's on a Friday like today. Won't you email us? You can email us at mail@questlogcast.com. Send us your favorite recipe, your favorite game, your favorite dog. I don't care. Just send us an email, please. It's like cobwebs and stuff in there. I check it out of habit, but you're not putting anything there. I want to talk to you. To you. Yes, you, the one listening right now.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. We will catch you guys next week.
The show notes are the most underrated feature of this entire show.
That's true. It's really,
That's saying something.
it's yeah. It's really missing out.
Also, is this an episode where all the audio came together? Like everything worked? Is this the one where it came together?
Talking,
Episode 47? Did it
you're
happen?
talking through the fade out, so now it's fucked. Now I gotta start the outro music again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.